So I do want to open the floor up a little bit for you guys. Probably have a little bit longer of a Q&A session than we typically would.
Hello? Yeah.
How are we doing, Rob?
All right, good. I was wanted to ask, so the key parts is I understand about the integrator and the visionary, and what other key parts would you know add to it?
In in which sense are you asking, just for clarification?
Oh, as far as running a business, the business and everything, the real estate investing business.
Right. Do you mean outside of just having the visionary and the integrator?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Oof. There's quite a bit that goes into it. But at the end of the day, I can give you all the advice that I want to give you. But if you don't have an understanding of which seat that you're assuming in your business and you don't have clarity on what the end goal actually is, like where you're trying to go, um, there's not going to be too much that I can give you for advice on how to actually structure or break down and structure your business.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
But I'd be more than happy to be able to jump on with you sometime and talk a little
That'll
bit
work.
more about that and get some clarity. And the same thing, I mean, that's what I have the group there for too, as well. So that way there, like when you guys do have questions like this, you're able to kind of lean on each other in there. And then I'm able to come in and kind of help with a little bit of guidance as well.
Mm-hmm. Got you. Because I say, not trying to take up all the time, but I just be trying to do everything. That'd be my fault, my problem.
Most of us, especially when we start out, brother. Dude, I spent the first, oof, what was it, Haley? Year and a half, almost 2 years trying to do all of it. All of
Mm.
it. Not fun, man.
Yeah, I know, right? And then trying to work with, trying to find out how to partner and things like that. So, mhm. But yeah, thank you.
I did so I did was it 2 Zooms ago? I spoke a little bit more about some of the soft skills that you're going to want to look for when you're speaking to people, when you want to talk to somebody of that capacity within your business. But it is the same as anything. Like tell everybody, like when you're talking about going into business with somebody, especially if you're looking from the partnership level, um, basically you're walking into a marriage. So you're going to want to make sure that this is somebody that like things really do align with both of you guys. But you're going to want to be able to put some milestones and benchmarks in place. You're going to want to be able to build the trust and the relationship with that person before you just go full in and like, all right, shit, we're in business together and we're now equity partners and we're going to throw all this money into LLCs and systems and all of that. But at the same time, it'll be easier for you to try to start to filter through that process once you have clarity on what your goals are. Where is it that Rob's trying to go? Not even trying, but where is it that Rob's going over the next maybe 10, 20 years? Like, what's that big picture goal? And then you've got to find a little bit more clarity in yourself. Am I gonna sit on the visionary seat, or am I gonna sit on the high level integrator seat of my business? Because then now I know exactly who I need to be speaking to, and then I can start to get intentional when I do my outreach to try to curate some of those relationships to hopefully go in business with somebody.
I do have a question.
How we doing, Michael?
I'm doing all right. I did miss some of the beginning, but as you're going through the three levels, like I see myself as all three levels of as an integrator, right? Like I'm a software engineer slash manager. I've started startups with, the CEO of the company and shared the vision, did all that. I was able to hire tons of people for my team, get them going, and also I know how to code. I know how to get in the weeds and make stuff happen, right? Like, so I really don't know how I would place myself in those three integrator levels. Like, I really don't know how I would, because I do consider myself at least a
So,
little bit of each.
oh, and that's perfectly fine. To be honest, I never I never considered myself as an integrator. Actually, the avatar that I chose when I first got into real estate was a closer. Boy, was that a mistake for 2 years. And then when I did like come to the realization and settle on being an integrator, I started out at the systematic level.
Mhm,
And then I started learning and operating a little bit more at the operational level. And then I started learning and operating more at the business level, which is actually where I'm at now in our real estate business. So for what I would recommend for you, honestly, is to go through the three different types of integrators. And again, you need to have clarity on where you want to go and where you want to be over whether it's a 10-year span, 20-year span. I mean, hell, even next year, because you can
mhm,
make that happen if you actually do truly get clarity on what you want to do, what you want and where you're going. But I would take a look at all three of those,
mhm,
and then I would try to see which one you enjoy the most out of all three. Since you already know how to do it all and you've already sat in all three of those seats, figure out which one you could enjoy the most, and that's where you stay. So with our business, we have four partners. We technically have two integrators
mhm.
who can do all three.
Right.
Now, both of us also have visionary tendencies. So as we're going through and we're actually delegating the seats within our business and like the overhead departments, delegating out those seats to the partners, he and I are consistently talking about who's going to assume the visionary and who's going to assume the high level integrator, because you can't sit on both.
Right.
It's the same thing in integration. So if you see that you're more aligned with being able to be at that high level and kind of serve guidance through everything that you've learned to, the direct reports to whoever's sitting in that seat who will be kind of building out those teams. Like if you see yourself as a true leader or somebody that can, teach somebody else those leadership qualities and skills, that would be the seat that you would sit. And then I wouldn't
Right.
even waste my time with the rest of them.
Right.
You
Nice.
know,
Okay. It
yeah,
makes sense.
yeah, when we restarted, man, I came in and again, really strong systematic integrator, but my partner Jim already had a system almost fully built out. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going to touch it. Even though I have fun doing it, I
Mm,
don't touch it. I don't deal with it.
right.
Now I'm spending all of my time going through setting up the EOS. He and I are both in guidance of each other, getting that whole process. I'm conducting the interviews for the first round to bring people into the business.
Right. Nice. Nice. I mean, I'm always thinking of the Ronco, right? Set it and forget it, right? Like, it's just, I want to, my goal is to set up a system and leave it, right? Like, sure, there's plenty of checks and balances, and then yeah, definitely, I I I love that part of integration.
So that's the beautiful part about it too. So if you're thinking about from the business level and the higher level, your processes, they aren't the CRMs anymore. It's not the
Right.
software, it's not the coding. Your processes are the people.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely creating that business manual like you get from McDonald's, right? When you get to what you call it, a franchise, right? They give you a giant manual and like, here you go, just follow this step by step, and you will be successful, right? That's yeah. I want to make that manual and go on to the next business.
If that's the case, I would start studying the business level a little bit more. And I mean, heck, we can have a little bit more of a conversation about all of that too. I've got some things in the work where I'm actually going to be putting stuff together in. So, like, just to give you guys a clear idea on where everything is going to be headed on my end, is I will be putting together, or actually, I'm in the process of putting together a full-on program for exactly that, not the systematic, not the operational, but the business level integrators, and
Mhm.
actually help train and support them. So it'll be an interesting couple months coming up. So I'll be touching a little bit more heavily on that side of it.
Cool, cool. Well, thank you.
No,
Thank you for
absolutely. Thank you for being here, man. We got Max. Max, you got your hand raised.
Hey James,
How are you
how's it
doing,
going?
brother?
Oh, doing wonderful. Just want to add up. There is a really Pace was talking about the rock and fuel. They actually do have the verb side assessment, which is gonna show you your integrator or the visionary. It's like
The
literally 2 minutes.
crystallizer. Yep.
Yeah, the literally 2 minutes assessment, which is gonna help you to see who you are. But on a personal perspective, it's such a easy to identify what's the people talents are and like what's their even ability, even before you know the person. So like literally, I had a conversation with the CEO institutionals, and like I literally laugh at the MBTIs and all of the tests because it's gonna take you 2 hours just to identify the personality when you can actually do that under 5 minutes and know exactly what to expect from the person. So I mean, it's literally as easy as just like turning on your computer to know exactly what person is drivable by, and you can make an assessment of where this person will gonna lead your team or the business to. So definitely would love to have the conversation with you just to show you, how to make it way easier for everybody just to bring on board the people and how easy it is to set up the teams who's gonna,
No, absolutely.
collaborate.
Absolutely. That's the fun part about like where I'm kind of sitting in the business as well, is being able to learn a lot of those skills, and really go heavy in on that and conducting those for first round interviews to see if it's somebody I'm even going to bring into a second round or implement into the business, or where I can even implement them into the business.
I mean, the thing is, like a lot of people, they don't know what they want to do. They just want to,
Yeah,
keep trying and errors. But there is something that drives every single personality. You know that for a fact. Like something that gonna make them. You're gonna wake them up at 5 a.m. in the morning. They're gonna be crushing it because they love what they do. And you want to have your team built out of people who's passionate about what they do, because somebody will gonna come to be a closer. Same, you start with a closing because you saw the potential to make money, but at the end you're like, that's not mine,
yeah,
right?
that's not me. That's not me at
Yeah,
all.
exactly. So like, and
So that's one of those things that like, and I can have a whole conversation about it, and like putting the avatars out there and like telling people to pick what their avatar is. One of the things that I found is if you give somebody a list of things to choose from of who they are, they're going to pick who they think that they want to be.
yeah, yep. My phone gonna die. Am I gonna disconnect? But definitely, let's talk about it. I have 1% left. I don't have a charger,
No
unfortunately.
problem. No problem. Yeah, no, I'd love to talk a little bit further about it. It's definitely awesome and interesting. Um, I mean, even more so, like I did a little bit, I didn't do too deep of a deep dive on it, but I kind of started touching on like soft skills and hard skills. More importantly, the soft skills, and actually narrowed it down to four that I actually look for when I am speaking to people.
Okay. Yeah, I dropped the my phone number in the chat. Let's connect. I'll show you how easy it is. You're gonna love it. It's like it's crazy easy.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll go ahead and shoot you a text.
Appreciate you.
All right, brother. Appreciate you as well.
Yep.
All right. I know we got a couple people that jumped in a little bit later. Anything else that I can clarify for anybody? Or if anybody had any additional questions, maybe something I didn't touch on? Go ahead, Michael.
All right. How would you suggest an integrated go about finding a visionary and getting something going? So I just had the worst luck in my time after joining
I'm
Pace.
here. I'm here. I'm your visionary.
Watch out for Pansy. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know. I can't even see you, so I don't know how much vision that is. I kid.
So do you have any clarity on what your goals are? What your big picture ideas for life, where you're headed?
Yeah, definitely. For sure on that. I know where in 5 years where I want to be for sure. Like I want to be on the other side of the VC desk, right? I want to be the one investing and mentoring stuff. And definitely, so before that would be closer to the top, hiring people, getting all the gears running underneath, and to the point where you could just step back and like, all right, we're making money there. That's a great place. That it's a great place. Go have fun. Let's move on to the next thing. I don't want to do it in parallel. I want to do it in serial entrepreneur for sure.
So starting out, at least right now, is it real estate that you're focusing on? And
Yeah.
like that's the area that you actually want to start figuring out the integration for?
Oh yes.
When you are trying to find somebody or trying to find a visionary to link up with, how are you going about it?
Here or in this Facebook group that what's her name? Haley?
Haley, yep.
Yeah, joined. I'm in Pace, but Pace, the Facebook group, but you can't really just advertise yourself too much, right? Like hey, I'm looking for a job or whatever. But so that's about it. I joined a couple of real estate investing groups on LinkedIn, and I participate every now and then. But that's why I'm asking, how would you go about finding it? Finding that visionary.
Are you being intentional on exactly what you're asking for and exactly what like
now
you want to do within the business?
I do realize that like I lumped everything, all three roles in me, right? And then
right,
like I could do everything like I said, but then I want to expand the people underneath me to do the other integrating roles underneath. But I never explained that because I've never thought about that, right? Like it just so yeah, after this after watching you, now I have definitely something more solid to present, at least as far as that. And like, would you suggest I could do everything? Let's start something and then move, or just go for that top position?
Don't ever tell anybody that you can do everything.
I mean,
don't ever do that. It's a huge
right.
mistake. No,
I know I would have no time then.
but no, I would start with the very intentional. Hey, I'm Michael. I'm looking to expand a little bit more into real estate. I've come to realize that I sit on the high level integrator side of things, and I need a visionary counterpart. Is there, you can ask or you can make a statement. I like to make statements personally, and rather than ask, like, is there anybody that wants to talk? It's just who here is looking for an integrator counterpart that can bring, your crazy ideas to reality.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be your first level filtering for who's going to reach out to you and talk to you.
All right.
In my opinion, and me personally, I never list off all of my skills. Like I just had a conversation with somebody earlier, and it was exactly that. We were talking about placement for either potentially on my team or on somebody else's team that I know. And I had asked him in the beginning of the call, I was like, hey, like, do you have a little bit of clarity on exactly what you want to do? He's like, no, I just know real estate. And I just know, I think I want to sit more on the integrator side than I do visionary. I was like, all right, well, that's not clear enough, but let's get a little bit more clear about all of that. And he goes, well, I got to think about it. And I'm going to have to go have a conversation with, a prospective partner of mine that I'll be working with later on down the line. And then he went to be like, oh, I before we jumped on this meeting, I wrote down all of my strengths and all of my weaknesses, and I can give you my list of skills. And basically what I told him, I was like, I don't want to hear it. I was like, I'm not trying to be, an asshole or anything, but it serves me no purpose right now for you to list off your strengths, weaknesses, and your skills if I don't even know where you're trying to go.
Mm-hmm. All right, that makes total sense.
So now we'll end up having a second conversation later. Next week, I'm giving them the week to figure out what that clarity part is, and then we can move on into the rest of the conversation. That's another misconception that I try to get people to get over as well. It's something that I struggled with for the longest because I always when it comes to certain things, I expect results immediately, like right away. Like I'm definitely one of those guys. Like shit, today. I mean, I asked my partner how his week was going. He was like, nail biting. I'm trying to figure this out. This person hasn't responded. And I'm like, I'm the type of person like, all right, tomorrow I'm gonna get that shit done. I'm gonna call him and I'm gonna make sure that he reaches out to you like while I'm on the phone to set up another call to talk to you. So whenever I spoke to people, I had that same mentality for the longest. It's like results. Like I want to make sure that what I came here to get is done by the end of this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're speaking on a business level and you're talking about putting a business together and you're talking about finding a prospective partner, if you're talking to somebody and you walk away with a business partner at the end of a, half an hour, 45-minute or an hour conversation, chances are you have the wrong person because you don't know enough about them.
Mm-hmm.
For some people, they don't even know enough about themselves. When I first started having those conversations, I had a huge lack of clarity of myself. And I'm speaking from experience of trying to put two different teams together that all failed and fell apart. One of them not as fast as the other one, but they still ended in the same result.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point when you're hitting those same results, you got to kind of take a step back and then take a look at yourself. Say like, am I being clear enough? Am I being intentional enough? Am I making sure that I'm speaking
it's
to the
live,
right
but
people?
I don't know any of these people. I'm just listening to it.
And your mic's on.
Need help for
Michael, if you're in Paces communities, one thing that I've been doing is if you haven't joined any of the challenges,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of use those as like unofficial job interviews. As I'm going through the challenges, I'm working with the people, I'm finding out how they show up, how they respond.
Mhm.
And, I'm getting to find out, do I want to keep working with them or not?
All right, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
You can look at people even outside of the community as well, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Heck, Ron, if you don't mind me saying, you're one of those people that have that understanding already. The chances are you probably know somebody or you've known somebody for a while that could be a potential either business partner or somebody that can work in your business in some capacity, but you just never looked at it that light because you didn't have that clarity and understanding. We're going to be talking to actually, it's a friend of my mother's that I've known for a little while, and we're going to be talking to him about potentially bring him on as a deep dive underwriter in the business. And he has no real estate experience, but he does have Microsoft Office, spreadsheet, tech support, and pretty damn good with numbers. But he has experience with that.
Mhm.
Our business partners, the four of us. Well, I can't really say Haley because we've been together going on 9 years now, so it was either going to happen or not. But the other two business partners, one of them I've known for 2 years, And we've had conversations on and off, and we actually had a full year that we didn't even talk. But it was just one of those things that, being intentional and being clear, we ended up having a conversation. And it's, in my opinion, it's amazing and a godsend how it worked, because and I say that our partnership formed because of the person that I was trying to become and the business that I was trying to build. I had a prospective partner before these guys. It was less than a year ago. And we decided to bring an underwriter on. And since we were both integrators at some level, we were like, we're not going to worry about bringing an ops manager on. Let's just bring an underwriter on, because that takes all of our time. A couple of you have heard me tell this story as well. So I brought the underwriter on. I'm not good at analyzing deals at all. Like I won't even act like I can. And my prospective partner was the one that was more in depth in that. So as they were phasing out, my underwriter came to me and said, hey, like I'm second guessing numbers on this property. So my first thought was like, shit, that's why I have this person. That's not my field of expertise. So I shot Jim a quick text asking him if he can kind of, and again, Jim and I hadn't spoken for 6 or 7 months at this point, but I was like, I shot him a quick text. I'm like, hey, my underwriters, second guessing, having a couple of issues. Would you mind jumping on a Zoom? So they jumped on a Zoom, a couple of them over, I think it was like a 2-week period. So then I ended up reaching out to Jim and asking him like, hey, how are things going with you and him? I want to hear from your perspective, because I kind of want to see from an outside source how this person's doing in my business. One thing led to another. And then, we were kind of talking about ourselves and our businesses and like what we were lacking, where we felt we can do better. And then all of a sudden, like 2 weeks later, we have a partnership of 4 people with multiple people within the business, all the way down to having a VA.
So you're saying, well, as you start to do the thing, it's a lot easier to figure out what the pieces you need are.
100%. The pieces and the people.
And you can also figure out which ones are not fitting in.
Yes.
But until you start doing the thing, it's all theoretical.
Yep. It's all theoretical. It's funny because somebody asked 2 Zooms ago if I can recommend books on communication. I'm like, nah, I can't. I just get out there. I just got an email from Fathom this morning. Apparently I hit 439 Zoom meetings this year. 439. I didn't even think it was that much, but that's how many conversations I go back and I rewatch to understand how I'm communicating to and with other people. 489.
It's an easy answer, right? Is stop talking and listen, right? That's the best communication advice ever.
No, but it's one of those things where like it seems daunting and it seems scary, but once you get in there and you start doing it, like you don't even there's going to be times where you don't even realize the progress that you're making. Like when I saw that email, I said, "Holy shit!" Because to give you a backstory, like before this past year, I was the guy that showed up to Zooms with my camera off. I never spoke to anybody. Like I hated jumping on phones, and I cold called 60 hours a week, and I still hated jumping on calls and like putting myself out there. So getting into the weeds, and I tell myself like, hey, I'm going to double down learning a little bit more about communication, and I'm going to go put that work in. I thought that I didn't think I hit that number. I was like, all right, maybe I hit like maybe 200 max for meetings and Zooms that I jumped on and or hosted. I hosted 80, it was 87% of them. They said. So to me, the number was small as I was doing it. And as I took step back and I looked at the progress, I was like, holy shit, almost 500. That's a little bit more than double what I thought it was.
Okay. Well, you're kind of making me rethink. I'm definitely, as far as the hiring tier, and all that. I'm all for hire fast, but fire faster, right? Like if a person, like there's so many intangibles, right? Like culture fit and all that kind of stuff that you just cannot find in an interview, so it's like, well, they're great on paper, let's hire them, and if we'll know if they're not working out pretty quick. And then
Here's
just
something interesting for you, and I don't mean to cut you off, but you mentioned like the culture fit. Here's something that I actually just learned. It was Christmas Eve that I learned it, because I was up till 3 o'clock in the morning putting stuff together for EOS to really excel a lot of the stuff that we're doing in our real estate business in the 2025. You don't dictate your company culture. That's
right.
not up to you to decide. You don't pick that. Your people and your processes do. So if you don't have anybody in your business, you're not working with somebody, you don't have a company culture.
Right, definitely not. Definitely.
That blew my mind.
No, it's
Because I was given that same spiel, 3 months ago. I'm like, yeah, when we find people, like we need to make sure they fit our culture. And I'm like, holy shit. Yeah, we don't dictate that.
Right.
And then I found out like what the cultures actually are.
Mhm.
And that blew my mind even more. And then that started to spiral like, holy shit, there's so many things that we're doing wrong in our business that we need to fix now.
Right. But yeah, culture, like I even worked at Zappos, and that was the weirdest culture, right? It was part Disneyland, but as an engineering team, we sat off in the corner in the dark, away from everybody. Nobody, spoke out loud. Everybody was like chatting on IRC, right? Like it was like this dead zone in the corner of parades. We had monthly parades that they would go through and throw candy out to everybody. It was just culturally, that was the weirdest. Like, like how the heck did this just develop, right? Like it was pretty crazy, pretty great in other ways, but so many ways. But it was interesting that but yeah. But so what I was saying is my mentality is hire fast, fire faster. But now, as far as finding my partner, my pair, you're saying maybe not do that. Like
Yeah.
give it a little time to
Date a little bit.
Yeah, let it marinate.
Yeah. I mean,
All
if
right.
you are in the communities, you hear it time and time over. A lot of, especially the people that are out there doing big things, like when you come back to somebody and, for most people, like even in wholesaling, and I remember people would tell me the same thing over and over again. I'm like, what the hell do you know? Like, I'm a hustler. I'm going to get it done. And it was like, oh, well, what are you working on this week? Because James was working on something new every single week. I was doing a different niche every single week. And then spinning my wheels and wondering why, like, why is it not working? Why does this niche not work? Oh, this niche sucks because I didn't get a deal closed in a week. But they all said the same thing. Yeah, it's like you didn't give it enough time.
Right.
Like if you're going to be going in on a new niche, you want to give it like at minimum 3 months to be able to have measurables to track realistically.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, for sure.
But it's the same thing with that. Like it doesn't matter if it's finding a lender to have somebody lend on your deals, finding a business partner, finding somebody that you're going to put into one of those higher level seats in your business. It is a process, and a lot of the time it does take a little bit of time.
Mm.
But at the same time, when you're sitting on the business level and you're a business level integrator, you're going to find like we just went through, we learned a lot with having the ops manager that we ended up bringing, or that was implanted into the business when we ended up teaming up, and now we're looking for another integrator. But it wasn't like it was a bad and sour situation. Like it was amicable and it was understood from all sides, the entire situation. Now, they're not a good fit for what we need in the business right now for a couple different reasons. Most of it sits on the financial side, for them. But at the same time, like I could have been that douchebag that was just like, all right, well, you have no use to me anymore. Good luck. Like, finish up your last 3 weeks and go ahead. But we ended up one of the things that we do is we had a family meeting every other week. Whereas like we talked about everybody's goals. You know, same thing I always ask everybody, like, what do you want? What do you foresee 10 years for yourself? What's that big picture? We go through the same thing together as everybody in the business. We open up that Zoom, we all talk about it, and then we all figure out how can we support each other with that. And business aside, like we try not to talk business at all. And then at the end of it, like we can come into the next week in business and make decisions about what we're doing that week to change things in the business to make sure that we're aligning everything that we're doing with the goals of everybody on our team, because we want to make sure everyone's successful. So just by having those meetings, even though she's phasing out, we're bringing somebody else in, she came back with like, hey, I know it's going to be a pay cut to do it this way, but while I'm still trying to figure things out and I want to keep the reps in, like she's deep dive underwriting for us for even longer. But even more so, we're still having conversations revolved around her goals and what she's trying to do in life, and we're helping each other and providing resources and giving her more people to talk about in the fitness area, which is where she's passionate about. And you know, just making sure we're pushing and thriving her to make those connections and do those things to be successful in that. So you're going to go through it. Like you're going to have, there's never going to be a definitive, like, oh, I got this person and this person's going to be in my business for like 50 years. You'll find them. You'll end up having people that are there that are like that. But unfortunately, at the end of the day, this is business. People are going to leave for any reason, and you don't know when it's going to be. Or you're going to have to get rid of somebody for any reason, and you don't know when that's going to be.
Yeah, definitely. I remember there's this big article where this one guy, he was one of the first, I think, engineers at Facebook, and they finally asked him to leave, right? Like, and he was offended and shocked at first, but it just that attitude just did not, that startup mentality, you know, that was great when it was a startup, but now you're this giant company, right? $billion company, and those same techniques, the same let's do this right now, you know, it just, now you have to be different. And he didn't change. He didn't realize he didn't change with the company, but the company changed around him, and he had to go.
Right.
So yeah, definitely. So
No,
yeah,
that's going to happen. I mean, one of the things that we consistently talk about with us, excuse me, sorry, with us is like it's constant growth. Like none of us reign supreme in anything that we do in any of our eyes. Like, yeah, we compliment each other and we talk each other up like, oh, you're so much better than me at that. I mean, that's how it should be. It should be diversified across your business. Like you shouldn't be doing everything. It's the whole reason of having the other people. But there's going to be a lot of like certain levels of trust. But even within that trust, like we have full trust within each other. But I can guarantee if we didn't set that guideline, like, hey, we're just gonna continuously work on growth ourselves, the people in our business. Honestly, we probably wouldn't even have made it this far in our partnership, even though it hasn't been that long with the strides that we've made and how fast we are moving on things, because that it happens and it's inevitable.
Mhm.
So when we're looking to bring people into the business, that's why we're looking to fill like the higher seats first for the most part. Once we start branching off like more departments in the business, we probably won't start with that higher level on those, but at least starting out. My mic keeps falling.
Mhm.
The little knob fell off, that's why. But yeah, that's the whole reason that we bring those people in, because we're looking for those people that we can instill that and like make sure that those are people that want to continuously grow and have the understanding that we're going to continuously grow. Especially if you work with somebody like Haley, who literally, not only is she like the marketing genius and the genius behind anything social media related, She's also the hidden genius that we have behind a lot of strategical stuff that we do, and a lot of the putting the overviews together of strategies. So when you have somebody like that and she's just rapid fire with that, and like we can literally have a week where she gives us 6 different strategies. And this is going based off of everything that she sees in the world and out there while she's dealing with marketing stuff. We need to make sure that we have people that can consistently handle that and consistently grow, because I mean, strategies are going to end up changing at some point too. So when we're bringing people on, I'm not looking to bring somebody on that matches me. I got to make sure I bring somebody on that can match the stuff that she's going to throw with them. But and then that's where, I mean, again, with there's a bunch of conversations that we can have revolving around it, like including like delegate to elevate. When you
Mhm.
start putting people in first in those seats, that's when you allow them to be able to see where their caps are. And then they can start like letting you know, like, hey, I definitely need to start building a team out to handle this, to handle that, to handle this list of things. Okay, great, let's make it happen.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. I definitely started by hiring people who did things that I just hated to do. Right? Documenting APIs, doing, all that kind of stuff. Like, I hate to do that. Let me at least ask these new hires, or during the interview, do you like that? It's like, yeah, right. I get to do more of what I love. And once everybody's doing what they love, I mean, it's unstoppable practically.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a key part of it, but again, you still have the core values of not only you as an individual and or your partner as well, but also the business values. Um, but then you have to be very cognizant of the values of the people that you bring into your business as well. Because even if you have, like, you can implement 3 people today in your business that absolutely love what they're doing, but if there's a lot of stuff that doesn't align, or you're a specific type of leader within your business, chances are they might not last, or they will if you're the right person and they're the right fit.
Mhm. Definitely.
Sorry guys, I know I'm going down and spit firing a bunch of bunch of stuff.
Hey, conversations are fun too, right?
Oh, absolutely. I like them more now than I did 2 years ago.
That's good. That's good.
Well, I'll just say that
Visionary
I look
tendencies.
forward to your next training. You were talking about getting into more of the specifics of the I guess the operation level. Because I think regardless of what level I'm at, there's
Right.
things I need to skill up. And that might give me some insights if that's a level that I want to skill up at or not.
So on the operational level, again, you could think about an operations manager in a real estate business. Or I mean, even if you want to take a look at it from a corporate structure, look at either a district manager or a general manager in a restaurant. Those are the type of positions that you're basically looking at when you're thinking operational level integrator. So you're not technically in the day to day, but you are direct report with the observation of what's going on day to day. And then you're bridging the gap between those people that are in the business and those people that are above you. So like if you look at, so you take a look at a restaurant, you don't see the COO, who is the business level integrator. You see him taking care of stuff on the back end, and he holds the meetings with the higher ups. But you don't see him in the restaurant every single day, making sure that the shift managers are doing what they're doing, just making sure that the cooks or the waitresses or the delivery drivers are doing what they're doing. That's basically the purpose of having that operational manager. They're handling all of the operations within that sector of the business. if it's a restaurant or a chain. Now, if you're in real estate, the operational is literally that, and that's why they call it the operations manager. For some, it's handling everything in the business. For us, we kind of broke it apart a little bit. Again, learning experiences from us having the operations manager and being able to see what is overloading somebody in that position, and us being cognizant of that, and then being able to create other job titles within the business. Because most of the operations managers won't especially if they don't see like the clarity that's going on in the business, they're not going to come forward and just tell you as the visionary or the business level integrator what their issues are and what they're struggling with, because they're going to want to, like, oh yeah, I got into this because I talked myself up and I'm an A player because these people are looking for an A player. So if I tell them that things are falling off the bandwagon because I can't keep up with underwriting, then they might, fire me and bring somebody else on. But
Right.
that shouldn't and doesn't have to be the reality. So instead, like, our rendition and version of an operations manager is somebody that handles all of the operational level above underwriting and deep dive analysis, but below actually like structuring meetings or putting together the EOS systems that we utilize in house. That's what we in our business consider operations manager.
Yeah,
So
in my
dealing
prior
with
career,
title,
I
all
was
of that.
mostly at the low level, and then last couple of years I'd worked my way up to the operations level. So I think ultimately that's kind of where I'd feel comfortable now. But yeah,
It's you got to find that happy medium. I tell a lot of people too. I have the conversation all the time. There are people that want to get into business. Um, there's a lot of 1099s out there. There's a lot of jobs that have 1099 positions because you're not technically working a W-2. Now, you're not necessarily an entrepreneur. At that point, you're self-employed, technically. So if you have a 1099, in technicality, you're self-employed, not an entrepreneur. But my point in saying that is there are a lot more people. So like we get into, I mean, even this room, like how many, we got 11 people in here. Um, for somebody that's in the space for quite a while and they jump into a Zoom of active conversations with 11 people, that's a lot of people. Now, if you're new to this community or any of these communities and you jump in and you see a Facebook group that has 15,000 people in it, and you jump into a Zoom and there's only 11 people having an active conversation, then it seems small. But again, over time, it starts to become big, huge. That's what happens to our world when we enter the entrepreneurial space or even entertaining the idea. And we get into these groups, we get into these communities, that becomes our world. I can almost guarantee anybody in here that's been doing this for a little bit or attempting to do this for a little bit, most of the people that you talk to are trying to be business owners or trying to be entrepreneurs. Therefore, you assume that that is the entire world. Everybody's trying to do that. But at the end of the day, that is false. We are still a small portion of the population. It's just, perception is reality. This is the world that we're involved in. Therefore, it's our entire world. But if you take a step back, there are way more people out there that don't want the responsibilities and don't want to have to make the big decisions or any of that within the business. And it's totally fine to be that person as well. That you don't always have to be the one to bear the responsibility and to bear having to make the difficult decisions and still be successful in, an entrepreneurial style business. Sorry, long-winded, but
that's good. Yeah, I mean, I know some of my skills will translate over into a real estate style entrepreneurial operations level, but there's others that I still need to pick up that are unique to that space.
yeah, which is perfectly fine. I mean, that's a whole nother conversation and even an argument for some is like there's nothing wrong with going through and like joining somebody's team or somebody's business to gain and learn experiences if you have that open line of communication and that clarity is there. The problem, and especially myself, that most people have had or do have is, and this is where the argument comes into like skip wholesaling to buying and all of that other stuff. I know plenty of people that are perfectly fine with having a wholesale business and they become successful or they're on the right track to be successful. Now, what I've learned is that isn't why I got into real estate to begin with. So I set a goal for our first year. We were going to have a duplex and a house hack we were going to buy. Well, I got the end of that year. I didn't have a single wholesale deal done, nor did I have a duplex. Right? Now, what was interesting about it is like, all right, I'll give myself another year. I'm going to learn everything that I can about real estate during this year. So I'm ready to start buying properties. Well, within that year, things had happened. I dropped out of real estate for a little while, went back to W-2, came back to real estate for about 2 weeks, jumped into just integrating for something completely different than real estate. And then I came back to real estate one last time. Now we've got a partnership. Now we've got a team. We've got all of that. And I'm like, you know what? This is great. I've had 3 years of learning. Now I can apply everything that I learned. And applying everything that we learned went great in the beginning because we were like, hey, we're going to give ourselves six months to about 9 months and we'll have our first property bought because we're starting from ground floor up. The knowledge that we did have and what we did learn, we applied it, and then we had a property that was ready to be under contract for us to purchase within 3 months. And we're like, dude, oh my God, this is amazing. This is great. Like, this is going to be a breeze. We're going to fly through this. Contract was signed. Do you know what happened after that contract was signed? Locking up a property as a buyer is different than locking up a property as a wholesaler, which means everything that we learned for 3 years went out the window as soon as we locked up the property, because now we have a whole nother set of problems to figure out. So that being said, again, there is no problem, and I'll never fault anybody for wanting to go learn something. Just make sure you're being intentional on where you're putting yourself and what you're learning. If you want to acquire properties, get yourself on a team of people that are acquiring properties and learn there, not on a wholesale team. And then, same vice versa. If you want to wholesale in a successful wholesale company, I wouldn't recommend implementing yourself on a team of people that are acquiring properties, unless that's where you want to be someday. Look at that. Pansy's acquiring. She's going hard for integrators too.
Yes. We'll talk, right? Everybody will talk. We're on the same group, right? Is this did you post this link only in one group? And Haley's the one that
Haley does what Haley does, to be honest. So where
everybody
she
here
puts the link, I can't really tell.
all right, okay.
I see announcements about these Zooms, like 3 or 4 of them, usually during the course of the week. And so, yeah. She
Haley's
gets them
very
all
good
over
at
the
what she
place.
does. Yeah.
Are
Right.
That woman, I
allowed
swear, man. What's that?
Are beginners allowed to come in the group? Like if I invited some friends, or do you want
Yeah.
like at least some experience? Okay.
I'm a
No.
beginner.
Well, I'm sure we're all some type of beginners still, but like, there's people that want to be in real estate and do it, but like they have nowhere to start, no clue where to start.
Bro,
So
I just told you that
leverage is starting
we may
point.
potentially bring somebody onto our team that has no experience in real estate.
Oh, okay. I think I might have missed that part. I joined late because I couldn't find the link in my Calendly. Got to figure it out though.
No, the only thing that I require of these people is they start figuring out who they are and what they want to do.
Have a willingness to learn.
Because that's going to be the game changer.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else have anything they want to yell at me for, or do they? No, I'm kidding. Any
No, I want
additional
to say
questions or
thank you,
anything?
James, because I'm not an integrator at all. And so I'm in here learning so I can understand, so I can somewhat speak the language, and of course, always recruit people.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Understanding and communication is a huge thing. That's actually why I gave you guys that homework a couple weeks ago. And I got to check up and maybe give it as homework again for people to do that. Pay attention to how you're communicating with people and how they're communicating with you and understanding both sides of it. Um, Haley and I had a really good conversation about it earlier. Nate and I did as well. And this was when we were talking about like, I don't even care to know what your strengths and weaknesses are right now, um, because I don't understand the clarity and all of that. But nonetheless, something that I wish I knew, and I've learned this from learning and understanding communication, but also going through all of this stuff. Like, this would have been a game changer to know back when I redid my resume, which was horrible at that time because I was just getting into real estate and had a culinary background trying to apply for sales positions. But communication and the way that you communicate and the things that you say hold a whole lot of weight, whether it's verbal, um, or like audible, or it's written. Like, for example, Haley was telling me how, like, talking about a whole set of skills and like why she acquired those skills. What those skills were and how she acquired those skills. And what was trying to remember verbatim what I said to her. I was like, if you switch it around this way, because what I learned was when you put down like a whole list of skills, again, this is where not having clarity comes into play. Most most people, myself included at that time, putting together the resume, we put down just a list of skills that we think that are going to impress, these companies that we're going to go to apply for and try to get into. But we're not speaking the same language that they are, which means the skills that we think are going to impress them might not be the skills that they're actually looking for. But there's a way to spin it and there's a way to tailor it with the skills that you have. So, like, I mean, even coming from the culinary background, or I'll use Haley as an example. Like, this could be something that could have been used for, maybe a really good marketing resume. So instead of going into the details about what you did, you can sum up the skills and just like, um, through the work that I've done for the past 3 years, I'm able to effectively seek high value in an oversaturated market and make sorry, I'm trying to remember verbatim, um, make educated decisions um, to drive weekly success towards the company goals or something like that. Like, just for an example. Now, saying it like that hits a whole lot different than just listing a bunch of stuff that you did in another job. But they mean the same thing. So now you're speaking their language. Sorry, Pansy, I know another long-winded, long-winded piggyback to what you were talking about.
No, I think it's great. You're correct. I'm a natural connector. So I talk to people all the time about many different things. I do understand a little bit about the integration stuff, but it's not where I should be focusing. There's no reason I should be there. Because somebody could do it way faster with less, aggravation, because trust me, tech, oh, like I will
Yep.
flip out, and I'm surprised I don't have to buy new stuff constantly. But
So let me ask you a quick question with that, because I do know that you do talk to a lot of people.
I
Um,
do.
how clear and concise are you when you're talking to some of these people to potentially be an integrator in your business?
I haven't spoken to very many people to be an integrator yet in my business, like, because right now my business partner is an integrator,
Okay.
but I'm on his case and he's on his case too, that we need to get him out of that position also,
Right.
because we need to focus on other things, him and I. So that's why I'm in here. I want to understand. I want to know what I'm looking for, what we're looking for. You know, he still has a W-2, so he's not here either, you know, able to hop in here all the time. So right now, anything that he can't do, I'm picking up. So we're looking for that person or those people that could come in and do those parts that we should not be doing, honestly.
Right. What steps have you taken to even try to find that person as it stands right now?
I mean, we have brought a few people into the business on the team, but they also have W-2, so they're not going to work as, you know, for any time, you know, be able to give us the time and energy that we need up front, especially while getting built out. Because he built out a wholesaling business.
Okay.
And then when I came along, I'm like, is this really what you want to do? Because that's not what I want to do at all. Like, I never wanted to wholesale. That's why I haven't done a deal. I will not wholesale. It sounds stubborn, but that's not why I
Hey,
came into this. I came
be
in to
stubborn.
buy. And, you know, I wanted to, I came in knowing nothing, zero, zilch at all about real estate. Even though we had purchased a few properties, I still didn't know anything about it. So, you know, I had to start from the learning the language in the first place of real estate alone to now learning different languages within there, because now you have integrators and wholesalers and versus buyers, lenders, all of this, you know.
Right.
So, we are currently in the process now of building up our ad, which we took some pointers from your ad, James and Haley, in hiring an operations manager. So I appreciate you guys on that. And, you know, so that's where we're at now. We are building our ad. We were building our vision and culture and whatever, to be able to give that information to someone and so that they could hopefully understand what we need, you know, in our process.
Okay. My challenge to you would be try to be able to be so clear and concise that you can sum it up in 3 sentences.
And that's where my business partner is much better. I
So
appreciate that.
remember, that was one of those things with, especially with the operations, when you start looking for the operations managers and operational integrators, is where you know, you be cognizant one of their weaknesses are. And this isn't just something that it's like you can change it. You're not going to be able to change it because it's ingrained in who they are and it's embodied. There are going to be a lot of issues when they lack any sort of clarity from you and your partner. So when you are like, if you guys get on a meeting and you take 45 minutes to go over something or basically tell them something that could have taken 10 minutes to sum it up, that additional 20 minutes is going to start causing either questions, or they're going to start trailing, or they're going to start thinking about other things, and then they're not going to have full clarity on what's even going on. They're not going to have the full understanding. So that's something that I have learned I'm actively working on, is not like not really over explaining, but going off on tangents within our meetings, because then things like you will notice things start to go off track a little bit. It happens in Zooms, it happens in meetings, happens in regular conversation. Now, if it happens so easily there, it's going to happen that easily in your business, especially when it comes to the tactical stuff. So like even to the point where like when you have a business meeting, I know some people talk about like the level 10 meetings. That's starting to surface up a lot more, even more, which is actually part of the EOS model, right from both rocket fuel and traction. There's a reason that they have those at, like they tell you 90 minutes for your weekly, 120 for your quarterly, and then 2 days at 120 for your yearly, which is supposed to be your alignment meeting, your business alignment. Obviously, to be able to talk and have conversations, it's very easy to sit on a meeting for 3-4 hours because you're working with people that you love at this point. You know, you guys have a life together, whether you chose to or not, but you do. So it's very easy to go down those rabbit holes and a meeting turn into 2, 3, 4 hours long. And then you walk out of it and it's like, well, shit, what I don't remember what we went over the first 20 minutes of that meeting. And then now you're going to have a meeting next week. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but we've gone through this multiple times where it's like we went into the meeting next week and it's like, hey, by the way, did we make sure that X, Y, Z was done? It's like, oh no, shit, no, let me come to get that done right now, real quick. Or people end up doing it right before the meeting. You know, to cut down that the time on the communication and be clear and direct when you're going tactical.
Or even doing it in the meeting. I've have engineers programming in the meeting.
Oh yeah, I'm guilty. I mean, we had our meeting Tuesday night, and we were talking more about proprietary business structure stuff. And something was brought up on a property that we're looking at and trying to take down at the moment. And like an idea popped up of like, what if we did this? And then I went to go share screen to go over like what the VTO looks like and stuff like that. And I completely forgot that while we were in the meeting, I was already researching like programs and grants for one of the exit strategies that we talked about while we were having the meeting. It's the first thing that popped up. And I was like, oh, sorry, guys. I was like, I got to get better at not like spiraling and multitasking while we're doing this because I'm doing like 3 things within the business while we're trying to talk about what we're doing next.
Be present.
Yeah.
So I'll be honest, like, what does your business do in one line? I'm not quite sure I know.
Acquire properties.
Acquire properties.
The
Is
core,
that the same thing for
the
yours?
one thing that we focused on.
Okay. Is that the same thing for you, Pansy? Is that what your business does, is acquisition?
Yes, we're acquiring properties.
Okay.
So you don't add on what you do with those properties? Like, is it long-term?
Oh, for buy and hold.
Buy and hold.
Buy and hold.
We'll do buy and hold.
Finance?
Yes, preferably creative. We are looking to do a few flips here and there, in certain specific areas, because we do have lenders that could lend on that pretty much 100%. So, but yeah, mostly looking for single family, small multifamily. As long as it cash flows, for the most part. Yep.
That's
I mean, we
gonna
have
help.
certain areas. We do have certain areas.
Yeah, because within the real estate industry, people that do single family really well might be a great fit for you, but people that have all their experience in multifamily,
Yeah.
you know, they might be a great integrator, but they might not be the right integrator for you because that's not.
100%.
Yep.
Even underwriting. I love that you brought that up because that was actually something. So remember I told you we do family meetings every other Saturday. And when we were talking about like our ops manager that's phasing out, we were talking about her future and like her goals and what she wants to do. It's acquire properties. She wants to actively do like operational side within her business when it comes to that. But one of the things that she learned is we started with, we're doing multifam up to fourplex. And then we're going to give ourselves time to move into doing bigger, because there's going to be things that we got to learn along the way and up to that point. But she hit on that exactly. She goes, you know what I did learn though, guys? She goes, I do not want to deal with single family properties. Don't want to do it. I was like, glad. I'm so glad that you got to learn that and understand that about yourselves. Right. No, you definitely hit the nail on the head. Like, there are differences with the sizes of the properties, even exit strategies for some. There's some people that will only do pad split, that'll only do co-living. But then you run into the people that like, just send me anything creative. And then you wonder why they're never buying any properties.
Yeah, I think
Or
you have
why
to
you're
be
always
specific.
asking. Yeah.
You have to have a specific market. And I believe I personally don't like to look at anything if I don't think it's going to cash flow at least about $400 or $500 a month. I would prefer more. You know, my team doesn't agree with me on everything. I let some things go because I have a lot of crazy ideas and I'm always bringing them to the team and they listen and go along with my shenanigans. So certain things I'll let go. But if it's cash flowing, that's all I'm looking at. Me, myself, personally.
That's, I mean, that's our key factor is it has to at least cash flow LTR.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That's the very first thing we look at. And then we'll look at 2 additional exit strategies. And that's it. Like, we won't touch STR at all.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
It's just the wrong place to ask. Like, how do you judge if it cash flows? Like,
and now I'm booting you from the Zoom. No,
That's the underwriting Zoom.
You're out.
I mean, are you including service charges to like a rental company that is doing, you know, that's managing,
all
collecting?
of it. Yes, you
Yeah.
have to write all of that in there. Taxes, insurance,
right?
you know, any kind of thing.
PITIS.
All
Right.
of it.
Billy can get you
Now-
the link for the underwriting Zoom.
Yep.
That's perfect for
Yeah,
that
yeah.
question.
So Jim, the underwriting Zoom and the underwriting group, Jim, that's my business partner.
Mm.
He is the GOAT, as far as I'm concerned, the GOAT at underwriting. Like, I look at the calculator that we use within our business, like the proprietary one. I look at it and get overwhelmed. Like, it's ridiculous.
You know, I just want to use AI to just dump everything you know about a property and it'll spit out something, right? that's a dream of mine.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into that too.
Yes.
Effectively having AI be able to do a deep dive analysis on the property, you're gonna be spending a lot of money having quite a few people working together to put something like that together that actually works.
Right.
Isn't Deal Sauce doing something like that?
That's
They
like your
are
napkin
using
underwrite.
AI for quite a bit, but they're doing napkin underwrite right now. But I do have faith that they will end up getting somewhere with that. So Justin Timanowski is the man. I love Justin. Like, he's awesome. He's, from what I've seen and what I've heard, consistently breaking that system. But they have a wonderful team of developers that he has working on it, and they have a lot of things that they're going to be trying to put into place on there. I'm excited for what it's going to turn out. Honestly, I was telling the team, I was like, hey, there might be some point that like I might even say, hey, we should be using this for a couple things. But yeah, they do have like a quick analysis right now in Deal Sauce. It's just kind of like napkin, so it won't do like really deep dive.
I mean,
But
that's
that's also-
helpful though, because when you're
Yeah.
first analyzing a property, you know, like you're trying to quickly do,
Sniff test.
and it like we've had 2 portfolios come across our desk within a week of each other, and it's like we're doing all of the comping ourselves, at the basic underwriting and stuff. And anything that we liked basically, then we went into the deeper underwriting and whatnot. So I think we're putting in some offers on some properties. But still, I'm like, one
Here's
portfolio
where
was like
communication is
52.
key. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's where communication is key in how you build your business out. So we've automated that, and we've automated that with people. So like we have no part of the sniff test. Like literally when deals get
That's what
sent
we're
over.
trying to do, is get out of
Yeah.
the sniff test part for sure and look at it once it's past all the different tiers. And
Yeah.
then we're like, all right, well then let's go. That's where we're hoping to be. Or
Yeah.
I shouldn't say hope. That's where we are
That's where you
going
will
to be.
Yeah.
That's where, yes, that's where we will be. So you
It gets
have
fun.
wait, you have a program that is doing that, or
No.
people?
Nope. No, I got people.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
got
that's what,
people.
yeah.
Like, so we get, when a deal comes in through the email, the first layer is making sure it even matches the buy box, or it's something that we would entertain taking a look at. Then with a click of a button, it pops over into the CRM. Then we have a VA that does data entry. So that VA fills out a form with all of the numbers from that email, and then it auto populates into the napkin calculator. Then we have a sniff test underwriter that comes in, takes a look at it with the numbers auto populated, see what else he needs in there, and then does a quick like overview of the other 2 extra strategies. And then if he says this might be a deal and it looks good, then it goes over to the deep dive. And then the deep dive is where the more in depth will be done. So like we have all of those breakpoints. So it's like if it doesn't pass buy box, it doesn't even make it into our system. If it doesn't pass napkin, it doesn't even go to the deep dive. So we're not wasting anybody's time on our team.
Yep. I'm with you, man. I'm the same way. I'll have to say, like, my business partner is a little more lenient because he's in the let's teach people mode. And I'm like, dude, we're wasting our time here. Not that we don't want to teach people, but we should at least stick to the
Be
ones that make it.
resourceful. Yeah.
Yes, make it into our buy box and past a few tests before we really like bring someone in and say, hey, let's look over this deal more, type of thing. Let's cut the amount of time we're doing certain things. And he's getting better because I'm a no bullshit person. When I'm working, I'm like, look, man, I just need to know the freaking numbers, where it is. Do the numbers pan out? Let's go. Like if you tell me
Yeah.
no and no, then fuck it. Why are we even here? Like
Yeah. That's the beautiful part about it. So when you're limited the people that you have, utilize the resources. Utilize them 100%, fall on them. If you have the people to support being able to train people, by all means do it. This is why I always say like everybody's business is going to be different. I'm fine with opening up and telling you guys how mine is structured. It might work for you, it might not, because your business might be different. What you're trying to do might be different. But if you get the foundation right, you'll get everything else right.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you need is the foundation.
And we're
So
working on that because, like I said before, like when I came in, he was doing wholesaling. It was completely different. And, I'm like, well, I'm not doing wholesaling. If you want to be a partner, then we got to go to buying.
yeah.
So
I mean, even we still have moments in like where a deal would like we'll ask about a deal just so somebody can let a wholesaler know, because we love giving the feedback. Like we'll let people know what's going on. So like when I go like, hey, is this going to be a potential or not? Are we going to talk about this later on this week to see if we're going to decide on buying it? And I'm expecting a yes or no. So when like if Jim tells me like, no, we're not, and then he gives me the 3 key points on why not, so I can give feedback. If he goes surpass the 3 key points, I'm like, dude, you don't have to explain anymore. Like, I trust your judgment 100%.
Yep. And I
completely.
don't ask very many questions either. Like if for any
Same thing with the
reason somebody
yeses.
on my
Yeah.
team says, look, it's not a go, I'm okay, next.
Same thing with
Like,
the yeses. If he
yeah,
comes like, dude, this
exactly.
is a phenomenal smoking deal, dude, I trust you.
Yeah.
What do we need to do to get it done?
Yep.
And let's move forward.
Exactly. For sure.
But we expect the same thing from the other people within our business as well. So that's what we instill. So when it comes to like even all the way down to the sniff test underwriter, between the deep dive and then between the operations manager, like I don't want to be stepping in there and micromanaging them and then telling them like, well, tell me why this and tell me why that. It's like they
For
have the
sure.
same thing. It's like they say, hey, this doesn't even look like it pans out from the sniff test. Okay, great. Fucking dump it and move on. We got more coming in. Like take a look at the rest of them, see what you can pass off to the deep dive underwriter.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. I love it. See, you guys are going to make me even more mean in my business here.
Oh, it's not even about being mean. Like I mean, we're nice mean.
I'm not always nice. I'm all like, why are you wasting my time? You know what I'm saying? Like, I help manage several different Zooms and lives for people, and I don't have time sometimes. It's like, dude, I don't have time for this. I need to see the numbers. Does it work? If it doesn't work, then don't. Like, let's go somewhere else, something else, drop it, do whatever you got to do to it.
Yeah.
So,
But at the same time, on that regard, like that's one of those things, like, kill them with kindness. So they say. That'd be one of those things. Like, I mean, even like it happens, and I've seen it happen. I was the same way in the restaurant industry too. I was a complete a-hole. Like people did not like me in the very beginning when I started stepping up their management. And yes, it was some of the power trip and all that. And it's like I know X, Y, and Z, and I can do it better, and that's why I'm here. But the game changed when I started realizing a lot of those other things. So like instead of being that mean, like, hey, just cut it off and don't do that, like you're wasting my time. It's like, hey, do you think that that's the best use of both of our time? Like, are you okay with losing 20 minutes of our time to be able to get something productive done by wasting it there?
yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, you're right.
No, I'm not mean about my team knows me. My team knows me. And yes, I can get a little like bitchy sometimes about things, but I admit it, but I'm one woman with like 4 or 5 other guys, okay? It's bound to happen sometimes. Like Oh, I love
I know.
Haley
I
in the
feel like
comments.
I feel like you and Haley get along very, very well.
We do get along. I miss her. I miss your face, Chicky. So
The good thing is when you've got clarity, you can smile. You know what you're doing.
you
And
could smile either
people,
way. You could smile either way.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I'm mostly happy all the time, So
People with clarity tend to have a brighter outlook on things, even if they are very clear cut in their decisions.
Yeah.
You James, you made a point about people, like some people get worried about not being able to do their job right. They don't want to ask you for help or anything. Like, how do you instill, like, for me, I love helping people, right? Like that's a big thing, mentoring, helping, getting people unstuck, right? Like at least in software engineering, I keep going back to that, but we have stand-ups every day and we figure that out relatively quick. So how would you do that to get that from your partner and get that to your direct reports and whatnot?
Oh man, that's a whole conversation. Maxwell actually speaks on it quite a bit. Another reason that I really like Maxwell. Yes, like we have a tendency like I love to be able to teach stuff, especially when I learn it and I get really excited to be able to bring it back and like break it down to somebody. But everybody doesn't always perceive it that same way. So when you're sitting in a heightened position in your business and you have people that are working on on those levels, it's not the same from their perspective as it is from yours. So like if you're coming in and like, stop what you're doing, I got to show you this, we got to go through this. That's where they start taking it as like micromanaging. So for example, and when I started working at a restaurant, so it was right before I got out of high school. Because I went to culinary school and all that for a couple years before I moved up to New England. Like I went to a vocational school. So I started working at the restaurant and I was 17 when I started working there, and I was the youngest line cook in the area. Like I didn't go in on dishes, I didn't go in on prep. I went in right on the line. And the executive sous chef, Rich, I love Rich. I hated him at the time. So this goes just into that. Now, for him, it was exactly that. It was like he had a passion. He had owned restaurants before. He decided he didn't want to deal with the headache of actually owning one. So he just took a heightened position in one. He loved to teach, loved to instill things that he's learned and all of that. So, God, I want to say it was for like a year. And it used to make me mad so much, like every single time. I'd be in the middle of doing something. He'd come over, like, stop what I was doing. And then he would start explaining stuff to me. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, I know what I'm doing. Like I was young and cocky. I'm like, I'm the youngest line cook in the area. I know what I'm doing. There's a reason I'm here and I'm doing what I'm doing. And it took a couple of years to like really sink in and understand. But again, the communication was off and I was taking it the wrong way. He was trying to teach me that there might be better ways to do things that I've learned and like to be open and be malleable, but I didn't take it at that time. But by the time I got to the realization and there was a time where I can meet and thank him, he was no longer in the world, unfortunately.
Mm.
So those are things that you definitely have to be cognizant of when you are putting yourself into that position. Like, is this something it's better off that I actually actively teach this person, or should I fall on a resource that I have to be able to provide to that person? So the way that Maxwell teaches it is you want to equip people. You don't want to tell people what to do. You want to equip people. You want to be able to give them what they need to be able to perform without having to actively step in and look over their shoulder and say, do this way, this way, and this way. Now, as we grow and we evolve, and I mean, Jude, even in the tech industry, like it progresses so goddamn fast. You're going to find that within anything that you do, like there's going to be progression. So let's say you're doing this for, let's say you have 5 years, right? You're running your business and your business has evolved a couple times and you're going into year 6 and you have a couple people in your business and you're just kind of seeing that they're doing things a particular way that you would never do it, or they don't have as much understanding as you do in the area, but things have evolved at that point. So they already know that there are other ways to do it. And you come in and you start like, yeah, if you just do this, 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 or this, and this, they're going to see other people doing it maybe a little bit faster, maybe a little bit better. So to be able to get ahead of that curve, like take the underwriter, for example. I know it's not the best example because I don't underrate. So it's not something I could have taught him anyway, but I could have went and took 30 hours of my week to learn how to underwrite, come back, teach him how to underwrite the property and explain to him like where he went wrong, if anything was wrong within his numbers. But again, that would have been the same exact thing. I would have come back from a micromanaging standpoint. And the only thing he would have gotten out of it was like all the stuff that he did wrong. But instead, making that decision to like hook him up with a resource, like I know a goat, he took it a completely different way. He was like, oh my God, like I learned so much, like I learned beyond what I thought I was going to learn, that now I want to underwrite even better. Like I want to do more and I want to go out there and start teaching people like how to underwrite and stuff like that. So
right?
the huge difference in the way that you go about it.
Right. So yeah, you gave him the fish and he taught him how to fish, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you always want to be equipping your people. If there's any advice that I can ever give anybody, I understand you've got a lot of knowledge, and you might want to teach everybody, but not everybody is going to be able to learn from you. Um, that's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people. It's also one of those things, like, think about it this way. I can almost guarantee, because this was a hard pill to swallow for myself as well, when I really realized that, like, everything was in the shitter and, like, things need to change and I need to change what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. I probably had about 70 people tell me that the problem was me with trying to close. 70 people over the course of a couple years. But it was the same reactions, like, oh, you don't know what I'm talking about, or what you're talking about. I'm really good at building rapport. I get these people on the phone and I get them on a second call and we talk for, 45 minutes to an hour. You don't know what you're talking about. The problem's not me. The problem's the lead. The problem's that person. But it took one person that resonated with me to tell me that, for me to be like, you know what? You're right. The problem is me. You might be one of those first 70 people for the people that are in your business, not the 71st person.
No, I believe it. We have someone in our group right now that we're trying to assist, and I've already kind of thrown my hands up and said, I can't help this person anymore, because we've explained the same thing over and over and they just don't get it. And I feel like it's a waste of my time at that point. Like, they're too new and they're not willing to stop and listen to anyone at that point, really. So I'm like, they're going to have to flail around for a while and then maybe they'll come back and we can try again. But right
Yeah.
now, they're just going to have to go flail for a little while. All the information is there. Like, I found the information, and I wasn't even really looking when I found it. So if I can find it, and I am not a tech person, remember, like, if I can do it, I'm pretty sure anybody else can. So then that's where I'm at with certain people right now. And my partner's like, he has a heart of gold, love him, but he doesn't even have that time to take, and he does. And I'm like, man, like, you are giving too much to certain individuals. And it's, maybe down the line it's going to pay off. It's not even about the payoff. But at this time, we're building our business. We really honestly just don't have time for that, for certain things. Like, yes, we can stop and help certain people, but when you've repeated yourself and tried to speak to this person in many different ways, because like you said, not everyone's going to understand what you're putting out there. We all have kind of our own way of understanding things. I get that.
Yeah.
I totally get that. Like, I am definitely a people person. I can usually pick up where somebody needs to speak to someone other than myself, or needs me to tweak what I'm saying for them to understand. But you are going to come across those people and they are going to try to take all of your time. And you have to learn how to say no.
So you just said something as well that's very, very important. And this is something that I just learned recently that is kind of a game changer in meetings and when discussing problems, is when you find yourself repeating yourself over and over. Now, a good rule of thumb that I just learned is, when you have a situation or an issue, like, it's fine to have a conversation about it. But as soon as something within that conversation becomes repetitive, it's time to now focus on a solution.
Exactly. I'm with you. The solution is
Which
not me.
90% of the time exactly is, well, now I need to implement a resource.
Yeah. And I have tried to give them other resources and they keep coming back, damn it. I'm like, I sent you to some of the people, like I sent them to people that are, I won't say highly spoken of, because I've learned in this business that even people who are highly spoken of have made mistakes in along the way and don't care to share, but that's okay. But regardless, I sent them to people that I really did think would be more helpful than myself and my partner and my team. And they still come back.
No,
In your
honestly, I love
organization,
making mistakes.
are these people like JVing with you, or are they employees, or like what's
Right
Like
the
now
in,
it's JV. Yeah. Right
okay.
now they're JV. We have let some people in our CRM because like I said, we did have the wholesale side and we still kind of do, but we've kind of, myself and my business partner are like hands off for the most part on the wholesale side. And we brought in a few people who were still interested in that and said, look, you guys want to keep the wholesale side going? You guys have to keep the wholesale side going. We are not part of that right now. And so that's kind of, it is what it is, right? It's kind of like, you guys want to keep that going. That's not ours any longer. We'll help you where we can, but that's not where we're focusing.
So
So
if
we do
that's
have
where
some helpers there.
just a quick thing, if that's where the issues are, is in the wholesale side of things, PACE's free community has the free wholesale semester badge. I
Oh,
would
okay.
just tell them, go come back, show me that you've earned your wholesale semester badge, and don't ask me any other questions until you've completed that. It's
Oh,
free.
I didn't
All you
know
have to
that.
do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll definitely use that. I appreciate that.
That way it takes some of the basic level training off of you, and then they can come back with some actual knowledge. And they can say, look, I've got the badge. I answered the questions and the quizzes. So
I
at least I have
passed
some
first
baseline.
grade.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that's a good,
That's huge
like I
though.
said,
I didn't even know
that's
that
huge.
either.
I didn't know that was there because like I said, when I came in, I realized it was an entire different language. You're talking about ROI, NOI, like HUDs, this, that, like what? My head was spinning. I'm like, I have no idea,
I,
so
I was gonna
I
ask.
did tell them to go learn the language. Like I did explain to them, like, look, there's certain language, things you have to learn first before you really jump in, and like I said, this person, I think they have some intellectual things going on. So we really are trying to be patient as much as possible, but steer them in a direction that would be more useful or helpful for them. So
I would, yeah, I'd have a further conversation and try to gain some clarity there. I know I circle back to clarity all the time, but it's
no, you're not wrong though.
probably
You're
the
not wrong.
most important thing. And it's okay if it's not at a higher level. It's okay if it's at a lower level right now, but at least some sort of clarity and direction to have. Because it's kind of one of those situations like you don't know where you've been if you don't know where you're going.
For sure. No, you're absolutely correct. And that's one thing that is like a regular thing in my mind too. When I'm starting my day, do I have clarity? What am I doing? You know what I'm saying? Like when I start going, because I'm easily distracted. I got that ADH thing going on, like whatever. I look, squirrel.
Somebody gave that to me a couple years ago and now I can't get rid of it.
Yeah, so I got that going on. So I could be all over the place, but when I start feeling myself getting off track, I'm like, clarity. Am I clear on what my goal and my vision is right now? So I have to steer myself back. So you're right. I have to continuously bring up that word clarity to focus. And then I guess maybe I don't even use that enough with people. Maybe I should use that more. Are you
Yeah,
clear?
that could be
You
your
know,
universal.
yeah.
I believe were you there the last Zoom that I did based around communication within your business?
I don't know. I don't think so because we have been
Oh no, you were
jammed.
there. You were there
Yeah.
because
Was I?
at the end of it, I remember I said that there's one thing that my team says at the end of a meeting, and I wait to hear it every single time, and it was "I love you guys," because I know
Oh,
that when
okay.
they say that, then everybody understood
Yeah.
what's going on. They understood the next
Yeah.
steps. They understand what they're doing tomorrow. Clarity
Ah,
can be
gotcha.
one of those words, or is everything clear could be one of those words. When you start talking about communication within your business and within your team, you want to start to create your own language, because again, we all misinterpret very easily and things have different meanings. So if I say clarity, just say the word clarity, that might mean something different to Michael, or it might mean something different to Tim, something different to Nate, and something different to you. So, I mean, you can make this a fun little activity that you guys can do, like a team building activity, where you block out 2 or 3 meetings over the next month, and you're like, "Hey, we're gonna sit down for like an hour on Wednesday for the next 3 weeks, and we're gonna come up with our own language. We're gonna come up with keywords and key phrases that have a definitive meaning, that when they are said, we are all on the same page and understand what's going on."
Are you trying to control the culture of the company?
No, you can't. It's the people in your systems that define and control your culture.
Right.
Fun
I
fact,
believe we have a good
I
culture
found out
going on right now. I believe
our
for the
business
most
is
part.
called the Fluffy or the Happy Accident.
The
Is
happy
what our
accident.
culture is. Yeah.
Nice. I love it. The happy accident.
It means that our business was like the very foundation, because I've been having, like, we've all been doing a lot of these fun little surveys and having everybody fill out forms, and we're collecting data to really put together the core values and the visions and the company culture and all of that. And basically the fluffy culture, the happy accident, means that we have a group of people whose visions align, our values align, like everything on that side align, but we're lacking on the actual, not systems, but the actual process part,
I feel
which
that.
isn't necessarily like, to us in the beginning, we're like, yeah, man, this is awesome. We've got like our CRM and the way that our email are, like, that's all fully automated. But then when you look back at the like processes being the people that are in your business and the inner workings of the things that are going on, like having, that one tribal language, where you start looking at all of that, then you start to realize, like, hey, maybe my process isn't as good as I thought it was.
Yeah. Man, I feel that, James. I feel that the people with us, our visions and values, and even the purchasing properties all align. It's just who's doing which part, like I feel like I know my part. And and
Have you guys like actually had a conversation around that and said, okay, here are
we
the seats in our business, and Pansy sits on the visionary seat. I'm sorry, what was your business partner's name?
Justin.
Justin sits on the integrator seat, and then whatever you have underneath, you have your operations. So, like, I'll give you a quick breakdown on the one we're formulating and really putting together. Is we have visionary, integrator, then we have marketing and strategy, then we have operations, and then we have business relations, because we slashed sales. So we've defined the names that are sitting in those seats. And that's where you need to start. You should already have that before you're moving on to all of the other stuff.
I agree. I agree. We're working on that. But yes, we do have like where I'm sitting, where Justin's sitting, and the positions that we need below them. So we are moving forward on that. Like we do have some stuff in place, some people properly in place. We don't have our operations manager yet. That's one.
Right.
You know, we need more of an underwriter than what we have. Like I'm a basic napkin kind of underwriter. I'll look at the basic numbers and kind of get the gist of things.
That's okay. I can't do it at all.
Well,
so you already
I
got me one
I
up on that.
but that's even doing more than I want to do. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I can can do that. I don't want to. My business partner can do that. He doesn't mind doing it, but I don't want him to.
It's not necessarily so much as not wanting to, but it's more of, and it'll put a different spin on, and this is why I said we can have a whole conversation around delegate to elevate, because it doesn't mean what most people would think that it means, and it certainly doesn't mean what I thought it meant in the beginning, which was exactly that. Well, I don't want to do this stuff. Sorry, I'm trying to curb the language a little bit to be respectful, but it's like, I don't want to do this shit. So I'm going to have somebody else do it. And I'm going to create a role to make other people do it. It doesn't work like that. You're going to find your tail spinning all the time.
Oh no, absolutely.
Especially in the beginning and being an entrepreneur and building up a business, you're going to find yourself doing a lot of shit that you don't want to do or you don't like to do. But if you are tracking it and you are putting it, together, you can actually formulate it into technically 4 quadrants. I like to do this and I'm really good at it. I don't like to do this, but I'm really good at it. I'm not really good at this, but I like to do this, and I'm not good at this, and I don't like to do this. And this is where you're going to start picking what you're going to start delegating. You're going to start with what I don't like to do and what I'm not good at. Then you're going to go to what I'm not good at. And then you're going to go to what I am good at, but I don't like to do. And that's how you're going to start freeing up your time a little bit more.
Yeah, we
but
did
that's
kind of a list like that. Yeah, of things that we do. First, what are the things we're doing currently? What are the things that we want to continue to do? And what things do we, can we do if we have to do kind of thing,
Yeah.
But what part of any of it are we willing or wanting or should delegate? Because we obviously, as one person, you're not supposed to do it all. And that's why we have business partners. That's why we have teammates, so that we're not doing it all, and that's where I'm at. Like right now, like I said, I was doing everything myself. He was doing everything for the most part himself. So I came in to take some of that away from him. And we've put a couple people in places.
Right.
But he needs to, like, honestly, he's learning that he needs to get rid of more stuff. Like, he needs to say no to more. Because, like I said, he also has a W-2. I don't. So, it's like he has no choice. Look, man, give it up. I'm like yanking stuff away from him. Give it up. Such and such over here can do this. I promise, So.
You guys are doing opposite. You're his hatchet committee. But Michael, you're his hatchet committee. Michael, to circle back to what you asked earlier about like how to know when and where you can teach people. This right here, like this, the whole portion of this conversation is a great follow-up with that question and the answer that I gave you. When you're talking about the hard skills and like the actual, like whether it's underwriting or doing anything like that, those are the things that you want to equip the person with. When you're talking about things like Pansy and I were just going through, those are the things that you want to be teaching the people within your business.
All right. Okay. Makes sense.
You want to be able to teach them some of those skills so that they can elevate within the business, and then obviously move up into the point where they can start running their teams, and then they can start doing hiring and firing processes of whatever sector in the business that they're in control of, and then that spirals down.
Sounds good.
Holy crap, James. This has been awesome.
Oh, it has, and I appreciate you guys, because yeah, if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't have spiraled into half of the stuff we talked about.
Nice.
Definitely. I mean, I definitely could go on all night asking you questions.
Yeah, the new me can go on all night talking, so somebody's got to put a cutoff on it at some point.
Well, James, you could come hang out and talk some of it to my team and my business partner. We'd love to have you on. In fact, hey, James, did you do an interview with JJ?
No, I haven't been on his Zoom yet. I've spoken to him quite a few times. I was active in his Zooms, and like I would talk a little bit to the people that were interviewing on there and hanging out for some of the after hours, but I haven't actually been a guest on there yet.
Okay, because he asked me to help him find people for Saturdays. So
Gotcha.
maybe I'll have him reach back out to you.
Okay.
So it would be cool to have you there.
No, I love JJ. I miss JJ. I haven't spoken to him in forever.
Well, just reach out to him.
I know we used to text every now and then. We jumped on a couple calls.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully he's okay. I know he was in a safe place, but from the fires last time I spoke to him.
Yeah.
So much there. But we
Yeah,
won't go.
I mean, you guys want to talk about a guy to idolize, man. Whew, JJ. He's smart and he's awesome too. Except for when you go on your Zooms, he will pick your Facebook apart. He's done it to me like 6 times.
You just have to know how to put him in his place. Like he don't mess with me like he messes with everybody else. Because I'm like, look, JJ, we've been over this. My Facebook is what it is, and that's what like it's been working the way it's set up. I haven't had any issues communicating or finding people. So when that becomes an issue, then I'll start worrying about it. But it's not an issue.
No, but he is, I mean, he is a master at his craft, and he is really good at what he does.
He is.
After all, like he has become the networking king. And he's smart too with real estate. I didn't even know like exactly what he was doing in real estate till he started talking about like the hangout property that he bought and stuff like that. And then we actually talked about it a little bit. I'm like, no kidding. I'm going after the wrong stuff.
Yeah, for sure. He's pretty smart. Well, thank you so much. I can't wait for the replay because I'm going to show my team and my business partner, watch this.
Well, I think I might split it up just for the fact of putting it on Zoom. So the first portion of it going into the 3 levels of the integrator, that'll be the part that I actually I'll put up on YouTube. And then yeah, so I mean anybody that was part of the conversation, if they're fine with it being on YouTube, I'll probably just do a whole separate video so I can put 2 up.
Some Q&A. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. That, or I'll figure something else out to give the replay out. I
please.
do have to talk to Haley because she yelled at me already. I dropped 2 swear words and she goes, YouTube. I'm like, oh, damn.
I know, and I dropped at least 1. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I'll just split it off, and then I'll make sure that I double check and click the "this is not for kids" portion on
I
there when
have
you
to do
upload
that
the
to
video.
mine because I have no
You'll
clue.
be good.
I have no clue. I'm like, it's for my kids. They listen to my potty mouth.
Does it really make a difference though? Like
No.
I've seen
you
videos, like
kidding me?
I did the kids YouTube for him one year because his school said that it was a good idea.
Oh, I bet it was
And
worse than regular.
what dude, I walked in and he was watching, like, so he liked GTA 5. Like he's played it, but he was played it innocently. Like he
Yeah.
actually went and tried to do things to make money and like buy a car, buy a house and all that. So I'm like, all right, he's actually learning something.
Yeah.
So he would watch videos about it. Now I switched over to YouTube Kids for him and I set the age to 6. And the video I walked in on him watching was a GTA 5 video, but it was like some weird rendition. It was probably one of the dirtiest videos I've ever seen. I'm like, how is this on
What?
YouTube Kids? Like,
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
you
get
can't
it.
trust that. You
No,
can't
you
trust.
can't.
I
Yeah.
think the kids video, like the kids section, is probably worse than the adult section.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like the first time I walked by and actually heard like a bunch of F-bombs being dropped right after another. I'm like, what the hell are you watching?
Pansy.
I'm like, well, you've never watched that when you had regular YouTube. We'll switch back.
Wow.
Yeah, for those, but now you know. So
Oh, yeah.
anybody with kids, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, this, oh my God, this family friend, what do you want to call her daughter? I came down and caught her on YouTube watching like a Princess Peach gets pregnant or something like that.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So I'm like,
Oh,
how did you
no.
find it? But I mean, Princess Peach, right? That's who Mario is trying to save, right? In Super Mario Brothers. And I guess it just led down to that. Right? It's just, oh my
Dude,
gosh.
like hearing about some of the videos that people have caught their kids watching, like suddenly I'm okay with him watching parodies, like poop parody videos and fart parody videos compared to some of the horror stories I've heard, honestly.
That's too funny. Oh my goodness. Are you guys going to Squad Up? Anybody going to Squad Up?
It's
I
in
think I'm
the
registered.
air.
What's up, James?
It's in the air.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I
it's in
haven't
the air for us.
decided yet. It's my birthday weekend.
Happy
Oh, well.
birthday.
Happy early birthday. I'll have to
Yeah,
reach
that's
back
way
out.
early.
Hey, at
Like
least
3
now I
months.
know the timeline. Just remember, like, oh shit, people are already flying out there. I got to reach out to Pansy.
Aw, that's so sweet. You're like, it must be around your birthday sometime.
It's one of those days. Hey, if you optimize your Facebook, I'll actually be able to see what your birthday is.
Is it not on there? I think it's on
No,
there.
I'm being sarcastic. I'm
Not
just being a dick.
97
sure.
years old.
It's this. We're in the after hours now. All bets are off. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I love it.
This will
I like
be
the after hours.
not in the YouTube video.
I don't mind after hours. I'm doing a few podcasts after hours. Me and Manuel are doing one, and we're discussing dating and entrepreneurship and
That
all
ought to be
that.
fun.
Man, those are interesting subjects.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yep.
But
So,
I mean, hey, just be a business owner. You can find a wife and a business partner at the same time. Come on now. It's not
well, I'm
easy.
not looking for a wife, and I'm not necessarily looking for a husband
Or a
either.
husband.
I'm getting rid of one. I'm not taking on another one.
And you're already talking about dating?
No. Well, we're discussing, we'll
see where it
talking
goes.
about dating and entrepreneurship. I didn't say I was dating. I said we're talking about it. Like discussing trying to date as an entrepreneur,
It's a
and
mission.
plus we're old. We're both, well, I'm much older than him. I think he's like his late 30s, and I'm going to be 50. So it's just, we're just talking about the different like dating, I guess, before we became entrepreneurs versus trying to date now as an entrepreneur, And then 2 later in age too. It's a whole different freaking ball game out there right now. I've been married 20 years. I have no idea how to freaking date. And I don't even know that I want to.
I
I'm
was getting
like,
ready to say, what the things are, man, I'd be scared to be in the dating scene right now, to be honest.
you know, the funny thing is I was talking about this to Justin. I'm like, I was on like the Facebook dating app and I was like, these people are so fucking boring, right? I actually started using it to find an operations manager because I did run across this guy's profile and he said ops manager. I'm like, oh, well, he's not my type, but maybe we could talk.
Oh man, that's funny. So it's funny that you
That's
mentioned that because
crazy.
like most oh man, I go into like mobile games. Like I'll find like the online player games, like war games and stuff like that, and I'll just go in there completely talking shit with people for a long time. And then all of a sudden, like it transpires into where I'm talking about like they're trying to source properties in certain neighborhoods somewhere in the US for me to potentially buy and trying to learn how to wholesale and all of this other shit. So it's like it really goes to show like you can find opportunity literally everywhere. Apparently dating
Anywhere.
sites now too.
Yep.
I guess so.
They even have a networking side of Bumble now. I've been using that actually.
Bumble. I have not even tried any. I tried Facebook dating app because it was right there. And I'm
Can't even
like,
find
I'll
it
check it
anymore.
out.
Wasn't Bumble like originally a Facebook dating app thing? Or was that something else?
I don't
I
think
think it was
I
just a
can't keep
regular
up.
dating app.
I thought it was like a woman's first dating app.
Yeah, it is. They have to text first. But if you
Right,
like
right.
match with guys on the network side of it, then either one can message first.
Okay.
It's lame. It's so lame. And they have like 170 hours to respond. They have like a whole week.
Wow. But there's something about that. Like my ex-wife, and I would fight all the time because I was constantly dreaming about how we could monetize what she's doing online and blah blah. And she's like, why can't you just? Why do you keep doing that? Why do you keep trying to monetize everything? Because you love to do that. So why not get
You're
paid to
leaving
do
money
it?
on the
Right? Like,
table.
she just hated it. I mean, but she ended up she was the person who needed to go into work, go down the punch list, and then go home. That was her. That's what she wanted from life.
Oh
But
man,
no,
I tell you what though, dating as
I
an
can't do that.
entrepreneur, being in a relationship as an entrepreneur, and if you're both entrepreneurs, whoo, you thought your arguments before were bad.
Well, see, that's
95.
what I thought I needed. Like, because, you know, Haley had dropped in there, like, date someone and turn them into an entrepreneur. No, that doesn't work. I was married to a guy. He was a business owner at one time. Okay. He wants nothing to do with the damn real estate side. So, no, you can't make someone want to do something. And yes, I think that if, when, I'm going to say when I decide to date again, it's gonna have to be someone that is already an entrepreneur
Yeah.
because you have a different mindset than the average person. So, like, they either
Sorry, I'll
have
be
to have
right
their own
back, guys.
business or something. You got to have your own business, something, because you can't rely slowly on me and my stuff going on because,
Right. You
like,
gotta
I'm
have
all
your
over the
shit
place.
together before you come into my life.
Amen to that. I am not even playing around. Like it's
So
not even
picky.
it's not even about being picky. It's about
Or
being
that too.
like respectful to yourself. Like I
Yeah.
feel like it's like in my marriage, I feel like I let myself get disrespected. Like why did I let myself get disrespected? Why did I try to hold on for so long when they didn't want any part of what I was doing? So it's like, yeah, now I'm like, you don't have the right mindset. You're not an entrepreneur, whatever. Like, nope. Like,
There's the deal
not even
breaker right
wasting my
Oh
there.
time.
man, I mean,
No.
truth, even finding the balancing act, like most people, at least everybody that I know that I've ever spoken to are like, oh yeah, I got into all of this because I wanted to get to a point where I was only working 2 hours a day. And then you get over here and you're like, fuck, I traded 40 hours a week for 80 hours a week, sometimes 120. Like, well, why did I do this to myself? So when you have a relationship going on with that, and then you have two people that are doing it, and it's like, in my opinion, this is just my personal opinion. When you're dating somebody who's an entrepreneur, you guys are both like you're going at it so many hours a week, work, guys, still PG. So many hours a week and you guys are busy and you're working, like you understand, and there's that mutual like understanding of the amount of time and your energy and effort that that's going to take. But if you have one person that's an entrepreneur and the others that's not, then it starts to go into that realm where it's like, well, I don't get any of your time and attention, and it's like, well, trying to do this and trying to do that, but trying to figure that balancing act. It's a lot easier if you want to like go through your schedule and schedule out like, hey, let's go for a walk this day, or let me cross this evening out and it's family time. It's way easier to do that when you're both entrepreneurs.
Right. Definitely.
Got to
And
schedule
that's something
different
I'm
things.
still working on.
I mean, I think that you can, like, if you're in the same office, you can like schedule things and, fool around at the same time. Like,
What are you saying? Like inside the
like
coffee
it's
break
got to
or
Just
be
trying to
fun.
mix work and play.
You're in a Zoom meeting and all of a sudden they're like, why do you keep looking up?
If you can't have fun with it, what's the point?
You never take it too serious.
Hey, Maggie, you're funny. I have thought about it, actually. I really
should.
have.
Pansy, you should start this up to speed dating that's actual speed dating.
Up to speed dating.
Speed dating, that's actually what it implies.
Right? Oh, not Jesse's friends with benefits thing. Which,
Entrepreneurs with benefits? What?
yeah. I liked the friends with benefits idea. Like, what kind of benefits do we have here?
Right. He's an investor. He is great at cooking and nightlife.
I like that. Keep going. Wait, he's an investor and he's a cook. Well, you got me listening already. What other
Well, that was
qualities?
fun
Wait.
Saturday. What's next?
Today's
Pansy,
Thursday.
I think you have a problem. You've been on 30 speed dating Zooms. What's going on?
There's no hope. There's no hope for me.
You just have to change the title. Friends with business benefits.
No, what fun is that? Yeah, I'm gonna have to start the dating app. Maggie, let's work on this together. Look out. I'm gonna make it. I know somebody who does apps.
Do you know an engineer? I can do the back end.
There you go. Nice. Michael
Dreams
and I
into
just came up
reality in
with
the same Zoom.
Hell yeah. I'm down. Like, I've been actually thinking about it because I'm like, do they actually have an app for people like that
entrepreneur
aren't
dating
just
app?
regular Joe Schmo and Jane Smith down the street? Like, I don't want to freaking date my neighbors. I know what they're doing. They're doing 9 to 5. I'm not there.
Right.
Oh, Michael, speaking of, you're the developer you were mentioning.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 9 to 5.
Have you built an app completely from the back end that's not drag and drop before?
Yes, of course. I'm a coder. I code. I have 25 years of experience.
We might have to have a conversation at some point. So,
keyword.
Well, remember I was telling you, my partner Jim made a calculator, and the way that he has it automated, and even down to the data entry. So just like a quick overview of the extents, and this is why I say that I get intimidated just looking at it, even when there's no numbers in it. So he has it to the point to where when the data and when the VA enters data entry, it auto populates onto the sniff test calculator, which is different from the deep dive.
Right.
But when it gets entered into the sniff test, there's a button to click on the sniff test, and it'll automatically create 3 different sheets with the calculator for 3 different exit strategies auto-filled.
Right.
And we were talking about trying to price out and see what it would cost and entail to turn that into an app.
Right. Does it have to be like an app? Could it be a web app? Like, could it be on just the internet at first? Because I'm not the super front end guy. We would have to hire somebody else to actually.
I know an app guy. I know an app guy.
Even if it's just on the web for now.
That's easy.
I know that he does want to go into monetizing off of it. So obviously being able to kind of set a lot of that other stuff is going to require additional costs and things like that. But yeah, I mean, that's the direction that we want to head with it.
Right. Well, that's an easy
James,
thing.
I have someone I can hook you up with. They already have several apps out there.
Yeah, it was just since you mentioned you brought it up earlier, I was like, oh, why didn't I think about that earlier?
Right. Easy stuff. Some stuff, yeah. Stuff like that would be fun too. But as far as AI, I mean, like, AI is simple to like even just take random stuff and turn it into the inputs of something, right? Like you still have a solid, but you know, it's just easier to just copy like a listing or something and just paste it over instead of, okay, here's how much it is. Oh, this is in square feet and not square inches. Trying to figure that out. To input it, that's hellacious too. But just to be able to just dump it in and have it figure out, what each of the things are, that's so much easier.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, I've got a little coding experience, but not much. The extent of my coding, and this will tell you how new I am to it, is Python, basically.
Right. Yeah.
But my first experiences with creating a bot kind of turned me away from it for a little while because I got my IP address blocked from True People Search for I think it was like 6 months. I was like, you know what? No, I'm not having fun with this anymore.
Well, right. Should have been using a VPN, man.
Yeah. Should have been using a VPN, and I should have used GPT a little bit better to let me know, like, hey, if you're gonna build a fucking data scraping bot from a public record site, you need to make sure that you have a pause in there so they don't know it's a bot.
Oh yeah.
Because I uploaded a list of like 100 and it spat back 5, and then all of a sudden it was like, yep, nope, you're no longer allowed on the site anymore.
Yep. Which is, yeah. I mean, so I actually have some scripts that scrape Zillow and scrapes rent.
No way, you have a Zillow scraper.
Oh yes, definitely.
We have to have a conversation about that.
That was hard. That was like my holy grail, right? Like, I need to figure this out.
I was thinking about that like all of last year. I'm like, how can I make a freaking Zillow scraper? I'm tired of freaking doing all the things individually.
Right. You have to search state by state. That's the first thing. And you have to use you have to basically write a script that controls a web browser to scrape Zillow relatively slowly, like you said. And yeah, same with Rentcast, right? Like, so I'm matching properties to rent. I'm trying to find which one has like bigger the big discrepancy, right? The difference between the price and the rent, right? I want high rents and stuff like that. So yeah, stuff like that. I do that in my spare time. I would do that. I did do that in my spare time. I
thought you were gonna say I do that in my sleep.
Dude, honestly, it was a very interesting experience because when I did that and it broke, I was like, okay, now I understand why Skip Genie takes so goddamn long to give a list back for skip trace properties.
Right, definitely.
They don't have API requests access. So,
I mean, it's so stupid too because I would gladly pay for access to Zillow from Zillow, right? Like, give me an API. They have APIs, but you have to be invited. You only get to search like your real estate agent. You have to give them what you're allowed to your area, right? And that's the only thing you could search for. It's just stupid. Like, oh, come on, give me the data.
And then you can only, and if you want to build a bot, even if it's for personal use, the API that they create a private API so that you can only do a certain amount on the data set per, X amount or whatever. I think it's dumb because it's, in my opinion, it's all public access anyway.
Right.
Like, why are they making public access and like limiting certain things and have to force people to go through dumb loopholes?
Right. I mean, I'm selling my house. I want the world to know this. I want the world to know that I'm selling this house and how much I want to sell it for, and everything, right? To make a decision.
Well, I mean, hey, your Zillow data scraper, if you've got a price tag on that or whatever that looks like, let me know. No, I'm serious.
What kind of price tag? Do you know? Ruby? It's Ruby. It's in Ruby. It's on a Mac. It shouldn't be that hard to set up.
Somebody else mentioned about Zillow and getting information easily and whatnot. This guy, Frank Lamarck, I don't think he's actually in Sub2. I'm not positive, but I swear he had mentioned something about all of that at one time.
Right.
So
yeah, part of something Haley's dealing with is Zillow. So I already know that she'd be thrilled to be able to have access to something like that.
Right. Well, it's definitely very manual. So tell me what you want so I could at least figure out how I could shape it, I guess.
That is her realm. All right. To be honest. Again, the way that we have the whole business built out is what's in other people's realm is in their realm. I know enough to ask people questions to try to make a connection. But if you start asking me more of the detailed stuff, nope, sorry, you're gonna have to talk to her.
Right, definitely.
Well, that's okay. You don't have to know everything. That's why you have business partners, and that's why I have a business partner. I'm like, I have my Justin. That's what I call him, my Justin, because he does everything. If he doesn't do it, then I have my other teammate members that will do the things that he's not going to do. But I'm like, I thank goodness I love my team because, like I said, I was doing everything pretty much by myself. And then I found my Justin and I found my teammates, and we're going to add an ops manager and probably another integrator or something. And we're going to be good. We're going to be good here. Very, very.
And then when you scale, you'll find that you'll have 12 integrators and 2 ops managers. And
oh yeah, we're going to have to get another underwriter. That's right, underwriter. Yeah. Yep.
Definitely. That's where I want to be for sure. But yeah, I mean, better living through technology, right? That's one of my mottos. I definitely look for the technical software solution and then go from there.
I like that idea. I'm just not a tech person.
But I mean, see, the wonderful thing about that, Michael, and why you would make a great, if you were to go the route of the high level integrator, like, again, go back to one of my idols is Andrew Cordell's integrator. Now, I'm not saying he doesn't know how to do half of the shit in the business. And even myself, like within the real estate business, even though I'm assuming visionary, I'm still very heavy integrator. And that, by the way, is one of the reasons why, like, when people tell me that they took the crystallizer or read Rocket Fuel, I'm like, did you really read it? The crystallizer to me is just kind of a guidance of like, hey, this might be where you sit. That's why so many people get almost equal on there, and you'll get people like, oh, I'm both. Like, nope, you need to pick one.
I'm neither.
Some people end up as neither. Yeah, it's just kind of one of those things. But if you were to assume the business, the high level integrator, you already have the working knowledge and understanding of how everything works on that lower end. It's going to make it that much easier for you that when the visionary or the other counterparts in the business, like, hey, like, we need to have this, and this implemented to be able to, or whatever it is, or like, hey, this is the end goal, this is what we're after. You can now go and be like, oh, okay, oh yeah, map it all out in your head and be like, all right, sweet. Here's the list I need to give to that person. Here's the list I need to give that person. Here's the list I need to give that person. Hey guys, here you go, make this happen. Simple as that.
Right. That makes
Now
sense.
you're on to the next. It actually makes it a lot easier for you to be a little bit more clear and concise with those people.
Definitely. I got to read that again. All right. Going to bed? Yeah. All right. Good night.
Which book was that, Michael?
Sorry, saying good night.
No, which book was that?
Oh, Rocket Fuel.
Rocket Fuel.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't read that. I took the test, but I haven't read it yet.
Get the physical copy.
That's what I heard.
There's forms, there's charts, there's breakdowns and stuff that are in the physical copy that you will not get the experience of from the audiobook.
Yeah. I'm currently reading Cody Sanchez's Main Street Millionaire book. I'm liking it.
You say rocket fuel?
Fuel.
Yeah.
Rocket Fuel.
The book about? Because I seen it. Somebody sent me a link to that too.
It breaks down the visionary integrator a little bit more. Now, Rocket Fuel is part of a series of books from the EOS model, which is the entrepreneurial operating system model.
Mm-hmm.
So I would highly recommend, if you're going to read any of the books from the series, start with Rocket Fuel. It's the very foundation. And then Traction is a very good follow-up.
I heard about that too.
Yeah. I would read Rocket Fuel first.
Right now I'm reading Never Split the Difference. I know I'm probably a little late on that. But
No,
I haven't read it, to be honest.
It's a great book.
I believe I did.
I listened to the audio book, and I've been listening to the podcasts for like the last 3-4 months. And it seemed like everything that I implemented worked.
What was that called again? What was it called again?
Never Split the
Difference. If I'm being honest, I read more books and listened to more audiobooks in the last 9 months than I have in my entire 32 years on this earth.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I've written like
Me too.
at least
I
6
did the
books.
same thing. I did the exact
There's
same
still a
thing
lot
this
of books,
past
man.
year.
Yeah, there's still a lot of books that all of you guys mentioned that I haven't even read.
I know there's so many that, I mean, I've already listened to and read so many books the last few years, hanging out with the real estate community. And I haven't even scratched the surface.
Well, it gets dangerous because to me, like, reading is the same thing. So, well, it's the same thing as anything else, and especially learning. It's very easy to go down those rabbit holes and then have the shiny object syndrome. So, like, I have an entire list of books that like people recommend all day long. I'm like, yeah, dude, I would love to read all those. And I'm like, I don't have the time to be reading all those goddamn books. Even if I listen to the audiobooks, I don't have enough time. So it's like having to figure out and be very intentional which ones you're actually reading.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of stuff like around that when I'm just doing stuff around the house, or like I have a speaker in my shower and stuff like that. I just have stuff going all the time.
Right.
You know, for the most part.
Like, man, I wish Matt Abar was still here so I can actually tell him about this book. But I stumbled across the book, and I know that he loves Outwitting the Devil.
I heard about
quite
that.
a few people love that book.
I have that book.
I found a book. Give me 1 second. It's called The Courage to be Disliked.
Oh, nice.
I have that one.
And it is, the framework of the book is the same as Outwitting the Devil. But instead of interviewing the devil, he's interviewing philosophers.
I would have to say, to be an entrepreneur, you have to have courage to be disliked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best
I've
people
had to deal with it all my
you
life.
ain't disliked, you ain't doing nothing.
Right.
I guess I've been doing shit all my
Damn
life
right.
because a lot of people dislike me.
Right.
They hate us because they ain't us.
Right?
That's
Like-
one of those things that eventually you just have to be like, I don't care, let them, whatever.
No, I
Right.
mean, look, I didn't care much.
Shoot, let them
like
have a hate
growing up.
party.
I mean, like my own cousins treated me like crap. I don't know what it was, but like I got to a point where I don't even care anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like I have a whole entire freaking community of
Yeah.
these awesome, amazing people now that do like me and I like them. Why am I going to worry about those family members or past friends or, friends?
We all got them.
You know what I'm saying? That
Mhm.
that I had all of this with in the past, whatever. Like, I don't worry about that no more. Like I don't have to. I have so many, like I said, I am doing, like, you want to talk about manifestation, if anybody knows that. But I believe I manifested Pace and the community, Jamil, all of you guys. Like I asked for good people in my life, and I didn't get one or two. I got freaking over 100,000, 200,000 people at my
Right.
freaking fingertips of awesome, amazing people.
200,001 right here.
But here's
You know
where
what
it
I'm
really gets fun. Now that we're doing all this and we're into like those bigger crowds,
Yeah,
one of
I
those
got
things.
all these
Another thing
amazing
that I
people.
learned, yeah,
Yep.
and another thing that I learned this in the restaurant industry as well, and is one of the managers that were above me. I'd say something about like a negative review or a comment, and I'm like, yeah, man, like they left a negative review. Like, what are we gonna do? Change it? I guess just let them. What do you mean, just let them? Guys, just let them. All publicity is good publicity.
Mhm.
And even now, like now that, we're doing things and we're moving into bigger, better things in our lives. And every single person in the Zoom and anybody that's been in the Zoom at some point are going to make a little bit of noise. Um, they're going to reach additional people. Now there's going to be people in there that are going to hate. There's going to be people that are going to have shit to say. Let them say it, because any publicity is good publicity. You know what's going to end up happening? As you guys are starting to become bigger and you guys are starting to become better and bolder, those people that are saying shit, they're going to say something to somebody. And you know what that's going to cause? That's going to cause this ripple effect to where those people that they're talking to are like, all right, now I got to go check out and see what the hell this Michael guy's doing, because I got to see if this is true. Like, this shit sounds kind of weird.
Right.
And then guess what? The person that just went to go check out Michael was Nate. And then Nate was like, oh, actually, I like this guy.
Right.
So that
Can I
those
tell you a
people that
funny
are
story
talking
about that?
shit, yeah, those people that are talking shit, those people that are talking bad, and anything like that, if anything, they're doing you more of a service than they are a disservice, because now they're drawing attention to you.
You know
Right.
what
That's
Dion
free
Guys,
marketing
said?
game right
Dion said,
there.
he said that too.
can I tell
Dion
you a
said, he
funny
said, my
story?
critics got critics.
I'm going to tell you guys
What about a critic?
a somewhat funny story about people like not liking you, but finding out, right? It's a little bit personal.
Uh-oh. Should
And
we
I have the situation handled, but okay, so
Do you want
me
me
and my
to
husband
stop
are,
recording?
it's, well,
Or I was gonna
you,
clip the end out anyway,
yeah.
regardless. So that wasn't
So
gonna be in
listen,
either video.
yeah.
just use a lot of cussing?
So, all right. So me and my husband are going through a divorce, right?
Hey, Disney.
We're living together, but we're not together. We haven't been together for years. We're just roommates, right? So he's dating already. I get this weird freaking call one night. And like normally I don't answer a lot of calls that I don't recognize the number, but now I'm an entrepreneur, so I can't do that, right? So I answer, I'm like, hello. And they're like, well, hello, I'm not sure I have the right number. I'm like, well, who the hell are you trying to reach?
Right.
They're
You called
like,
me.
well, I think I was supposed to be calling your husband. I'm like, well, if you tell me the name, I'll tell you if you're correct or not. They're like, well, I can't really do that. I'm like, what do you mean you can't? You called me. Like, why the secrecy? But either way, it comes down to the person my husband is dating told this other person something, and they called me to tell me that my husband's current girlfriend, whatever she is, doesn't want me alive. Okay.
What?
This is like a 10-15 minute conversation. And I'm like, we're having a conversation. He's like, you sound cool. Why would anybody want to hurt you? I'm like, exactly. I am fucking cool. Why would anybody want to hurt me? I'm like, I don't know who you're calling or who you're supposed to be calling, but if it's me, tell them to get the fucking line. But either way, they called me and they ended up having a conversation and be like, you're too cool to mess with. Like, yeah, okay, bye.
Yeah, it's exactly that. I mean, all publicity is good publicity.
I'm like, you called to try to be mean to me or something and scare me, but it didn't work.
Right.
You know,
The
but it's not
audacity
serious.
people have.
I don't know who this person is that my husband is dating. I already told him to keep his ghetto trash away from me because I don't play games. I really don't. So, like, yeah. The funny thing is, this guy who called me says he's a federal agent, right? Or used to be. I looked his number up in 5 minutes while we were on the phone. I got his name, his first name, his last name, and his addresses, and his fucking previous addresses, and his email,
Boom.
and
Insta-bin
4 other phone
verified.
numbers. I'm like, I didn't tell him. I'm like, man, I could have someone knocking on your door within an hour.
Oh, you didn't tell him you skip traced him.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't tell him.
They don't want to hear that one.
Fast people,
But
sir.
I'm just saying, I know how to
Yup.
do that. Like, you know, if I get a weird number, the first thing I'm doing is skip tracing that.
I do it all the time. If I get a number that I don't know that calls or texts, the first thing I do is let me open up a couple tabs. I do what's called lateral research with everything that I do. So I always have multiple tabs open and I'm just copy paste the number across multiple resources. All right. And I try to do it fast enough. So if it's somebody that I should probably answer to, I know so I can answer it before it stops ringing.
You have about
I just
19 and a half
answer it
seconds.
and do it while I'm on the phone.
I'll take it to the extent and go on and look them on Facebook too. Oh, that's what they look.
Try
That's
that.
what they look like too. Okay,
I did
that
try
Facebook
that.
search
Yeah.
worked too.
There were too many people with the same name, so I was like, I don't think I'm gonna find that one. But
I done found some leads, but I think it'd be demographic. Like, if you see where they at, and you look the name up, and then look the state up, and you will pretty much put the pieces together from there.
Yo.
yeah, I didn't need their
Oh yeah, that's
Facebook. I have
definitely
their
that person.
phone, all their phone numbers and their address. So I'm just like, if I have to,
Well,
I would just send them
what
when
makes
someone
it
there.
what makes it really easy now, just a little hint for you guys. Most of the people that are using systems like Go High Level and all that other stuff, they are now, because of the regulations that are cracking down on communications more and more, there's sites that they're utilizing to pay, like one of them's free and one of them costs, I think it's like $5 per phone number or something, but they're registering it as a business number with the 3 major carriers. So now it used to be when you go to Google a phone number, it wouldn't come up, or you'd get like one link that comes up with a long thread on there. Now, when you do it, more likely you can Google the number and something's going to pop up. So you don't have to always rely on True People Search. More and more now these days.
Oh, okay.
They're already doing the work for us.
Yeah. Exactly. That's a good one. I appreciate that one.
They're useful for something, right? They ain't gonna teach us financial literacy and real estate, but they can help with other things.
Yeah, well, I mean, most people think about it. It's like when you're setting up a system and you don't want your business information to be on it within the system because you want to protect from litigation. And then you find out regulations are happening, and then somebody tells you about these sites. And you're like, oh, I got to go register the sites. They're not going to think about litigation or anything. They're going to think about legitimacy first. So they're going to go fill those out with the actual business name. Or some of them, I've searched phone numbers that come in that have the actual person's fucking name attached to it, and it wasn't their personal number. It was a system number because that's how they register it. Because you don't think about it at that time. So they're literally making it easier for us nowadays.
Learn something new every hour.
This is why you guys
Right.
need to have integrator friends.
Right.
Exactly.
I do have integrator friends. I love them all.
And cybersecurity.
My business partner is in cybersecurity.
Ooh, nice.
Ooh.
Yep.
That's one of the last people I need in my network is a cybersecurity specialist.
I know a few of them actually in the community.
I go to a business meeting every Wednesday, and there's a young lady. She's in the cybersecurity. She do government contracts.
Wow.
Yeah,
It ain't like that though.
I think
Justin
Like
like
probably
that.
on the smaller level.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like on the municipal level. Not
Yeah,
so much like corporate and industrial.
Right.
That's the other beautiful thing about real estate, and one of the things that I've come to love over the last year is, you guys were saying earlier when I got that email that said that I did over almost 500 Zooms, hosted like 87 of them. A lot of those people are within similar communities, but they're all tied to real estate. And the part that I find the most interesting is you don't know who the hell you're going to talk to when you jump on those meetings, because it starts with like the common interest is real estate. But then when you really start finding out who people are, what they do, what they've done, what they've had for jobs, what they do for jobs, it is very interesting.
Yep.
Very interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's because
I think it's the coolest thing in the world.
The book I'm reading now, with Chris Voss, the one thing he say, no matter who you meeting, something like whoever you meet, it's always going to be some important information that you don't know. It's always going to be some important information that you don't know about.
Right.
Absolutely.
In any walks of life of meeting somebody and all that,
Right. You don't know who you're meeting when you're out and about. You don't know shit about somebody if you're just meeting them for the first time. They could be Miss Moneybags or Mr. Moneybags, and you're like, oh, I don't want to talk to that person. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
But I talk to everybody.
Right.
They probably like, go away, crazy lady.
No, I'm guilty of that, even though like I always tell people, it's a half joke. I have a general dislike for human beings. Like I hate people. I hate all people the same. But I'm the first person to like say hi to somebody when I'm walking by or I go into a room. Like I'll say hi to every single person and strike up conversation. What I learned like really young, and I grew up in Philly, so like you got to look up. You got to look at everybody that you're walking by. And in that environment, that's not an area that you just talk to anybody. And because of that, you realize how closed off your world really gets. And I remember there's a couple blocks up from where my uncle was living, there was a homeless guy that was always out in the corner. Like he was always drenched in piss. Like people would yell at him, throw stuff at him, and like all that. But he ended up passing away. It turned out he slept out there. Like I still try to understand humans. Like there's no understanding. Anyway, he passed out. He lived homelessly, stayed on that corner, and he lived in the apartment that was attached to the building that he slept outside of all the time. And they found $850,000 fucking stashed in his mattress.
I believe it. I believe it.
Yeah,
I believe it.
There was a rumor of a homeless. Well, he was supposedly homeless, but there was this guy what did we call him? Crazy something, because he just walked around the neighborhood just like kind of talking shit. And then he would tell the kids, like we were teenagers, he told us some like off-color jokes and stuff like that, Crazy Frank, I think that's what it was. But people said that he actually did have his own house and that he literally had like on the floors were with change, like piles of change, like you were swimming through change through his house.
Right? Like
And I'm just
Scrooge
like,
McDuck.
I could believe it, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, because he acted homeless. So
Mm,
people that they give you change all the time. So could you
mhm,
imagine he took the change home and just kind of dumped it?
Right.
Why?
mhm.
And, like
Right.
it's, oh man, like even so I've had I've been fortunate enough to be able to have more in-depth conversations with Amber McCullum, and like her and I have talked about a lot about like um the psychology behind people and understanding people when you're talking to them, because we were talking about like how fascinating it is, how like all the way down to Uber drivers and stuff like that, like people that you wouldn't think, like most people when you see or hear Uber driver, like most of us people that we know that say that they're going to start driving for Uber are people that like don't want to go find a job or can't find a job, and they're doing it to as a
Be
last ditch
careful.
resort to
I drive
making.
for Uber.
So that's where I was getting actually. So when I went to Texas for the Aspire tour, um, three, yeah, I took one from the airport. Um, she really was doing it just to make money to make ends meet. The Uber that I took from the hotel to the venue and the event, he ended up being he was a really good contractor over there, business cards and everything. Like he was just Ubering for fun. Plus the money over there, especially when their events, I guess, are really good. Like these Uber drivers were pulling up in vehicles that like you don't see every day. I'm like, damn, Uber treats you guys great out here. And he goes, yeah,
Mm,
actually it does. But so he was a really good contractor. I got his information. I was able to bring that back. So boom, there was a resource for the business from an Uber driver, somebody I only spoke to for about 15 minutes.
Yep.
From the hotel to the airport, that Uber driver, it was awkward at first, like the first 2 minutes of the drive. Then we actually started talking a little bit more, and it turned out that he and his wife were also entrepreneurs, and they were in the process of building out a like they were making homemade spices and rubs and things like that. And it was um it was one of the first for for them. What they wanted to do is they wanted to be the first black owned like natural spice business in the area. And it was the coolest fucking thing ever. And he was like, he gave me little samples. He told me about their website. He was talking about all the stuff that they were doing. I'm like, dude, that's awesome. That's amazing. You literally don't know who the hell you're talking to till you
right.
have that conversation.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I've had some interesting people in my Uber. I had a guy who has a porn business.
Oh, shucks. That's interesting.
Terrible. Terrible.
You
Yeah.
got tempted?
I didn't get tipped. No, he offered me a job.
That was the tip.
I mean, he did. He gave a decent tip, but
Sales pitch.
yeah, I'm like, I'll be your personal driver. I'm like, I can do that, but I ain't in your business, dude.
Right.
Like, you want to take some of that money and invest it? I can help you.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I could drive you somewhere, but that's the extent of it, guy.
Right.
So
Hmm.
he had issues though. He was disrespectful, not to me, to his wife. I could just tell because he's like, yeah, I offered my wife a position in the business too. I'm like, oh my God, seriously? And you wonder why you guys are getting a divorce?
Mm. Now we know who the red flag is.
Oh, shit.
Hey, different strokes for different
Oh,
folks.
man.
Sometimes quite literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, don't be surprised if he pop up on that Diddy indictment.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Did you
Oh,
guys see
jeez.
the did you guys see the parody on TikTok yet for that?
No, I ain't even see
You know
that.
that song is like go and pour a couple rounds of whiskey.
Oh,
They do a
Oh,
Diddy parody
jeez.
for that song, and it's the funniest shit I've ever seen.
Oh man.
Oh my
I
God. You
think,
guys are hilarious. Thank you so much. I'm gonna go. I had an
yeah,
awesome time. James, me and Justin are gonna be getting in touch with you for sure. Michael,
heard
we're
that.
definitely getting in touch with you. I already sent your information to him.
All right. I can't wait to be touched. Still after hours, right?
Is that why you shut all the lights out?
Oh my God. I'm gonna screenshot this. I'm trying to get myself. You guys are hilarious.
But I appreciate all of you guys, especially kicking around like this late and this long into all of this.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
This is
It
the
was
best
definitely
part.
definitely worth it and value. Got a lot of value out of it and learning, Just like
You're
what
right.
we were just talking about. You never know.
Networking.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Thank you once
But
again.
I do have one other tip though. You said something and I was like, it's been in the back of my mind, but YouTube videos and such, if they have a transcript, copy that transcript into ChatGPT, right? And ask it to summarize it. You don't have to sit there and watch a 3-hour video, right? Because you just took the transcript, told AI to summarize it, and then you could even ask it to give you key times in the video if the transcripts have time coding on it, and then you can go back and just go straight to those time.
Have you
Oh yeah, those
have you heard of Black
timestamps and just
Box?
edit it.
I heard of
Have
that.
you heard of Black Box? Black
Nope,
Box
have not.
AI? Check
I
it
heard
out.
of that.
I think they upped the limit on it. It used to be they cut it off at an hour, where you can go take a link to a YouTube video, plug it in, and it uses ChatGPT, and it would summarize the entire YouTube video for you.
No way.
Like all you had to do is take the link. But I don't know if it's just the free version and if the paid version they increase the time. But at least on the free version, up to an hour-long video, all you got to do is just copy and paste the YouTube link and it'll summarize it.
Right, which is good. I mean, that's what got me through some of Pace's videos, man.
Elephant challenges.
5-hour, 25-hour long videos.
Wait, is she breastfeeding? Oh my God, why is she breastfeeding? Right there in front of everybody. All right.
I know, right?
Right.
I know. I was like, what the heck?
Right, you're making me feel some kind of way right there.
I know, right?
But I do have to get going myself.
All right.
Morning's gonna come up early and really quick. I gotta get the little guy up and take him to school in the morning. But
Okay.
I definitely do appreciate all of you guys' time, especially on a Thursday and going this late. It was awesome. I definitely appreciate the conversation and where things went. I love that we got to share some laughs and probably talk about shit that other people shouldn't really be talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
Or that they should.
Heck yeah.
Right. But I'll leave it up to you guys, and actually I'll go create another post, and I tried to do this last week. But I'll let you guys collectively, if you want to go ahead and go post in the group about something that you guys want me to expand a little bit more on over the next couple weeks, I'll start picking some of those topics and I'll come back and I'll do breakdowns on those on these Thursday Zooms, because I'm gonna do this every week.
All right.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm in.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, eventually I'm gonna run out of stuff that'll end up
But that's
taking
what
away
we
from the
here
program
for.
I'm building out. But I mean, hey, I'm here to serve you guys. So if you guys have specific things, that'll make my job a lot easier.
Right.
I won't have to spend a week to come
He's
up
gonna
with a
have to go to
topic.
ChatGPT and come up with, I need a list of XYZ topics.
Actually, you know what's funny about that is I have my own trained ChatGPTs that have an updated knowledge base of everything that I've told it, the stories that I tell it, everything that I've learned from any document that I've created. All of it is in the knowledge base. So when I do need outlines or anything like that, and I do need to recall on anything, I just use that and it just spits it out to exactly what I want because I created it that way.
Nice.
Mm.
But there's there's something for Zoom, Phantom.ai,
Yep.
I think. That
Fathom.
will summarize this whole Zoom call. Like,
So Fathom,
I use.
it's
gonna be all over the place.
I use Fathom. Fathom was the one that actually gave me the 2024 email that told me about how many Zooms I was on, the percentage that I hosted. It tells you like your average talk time on the Zooms that you host. There's a couple different things it gives you, but Fathom, get it. All of you guys should get it. The only reason I say that is because it is free. The storage for the recorded meetings is unlimited, so there's no cap.
Wow.
So you don't have to worry about going in and deleting some so that you still have space to record other Zooms that you jump into.
And
You can link it so it
Fathom?
automatic. Fathom Note Taker.
Like the other word for understand.
FATHOM. Yep.
FATHOM.
Okay.
Yep. Now there are features that you can get that are paid for that are more advanced. You'll get a free trial for a little while, but the free features are worth it because the free features will give you it'll give you a breakdown overall. So it'll break it up into key topics. It'll also give you all of the questions that other people asked during the Zoom. It'll give you all the questions that you asked during the Zoom in a list. It'll also give you the transcript and you have the video recording. And you get all that shit for free.
Right.
Fathom.
That is an
That's
integration
pretty awesome.
worth.
That's pretty cool.
I know,
Definitely.
right?
Like I said, I tell everybody, go get yourself some integrator friends because you're gonna learn some shit.
Right. Oh my goodness, I got him now. No turning back now, boys.
Right.
That's why I put this whole thing together. There's a lot of people. There's a big knowledge gap on the whole integration side of the business.
And it was the title that
not enough people talk about it.
The title
Systems in Sync
caught me. The title that you had definitely caught me.
It's unique. That's the fun part about it. I'm going to change the name of it eventually, like when I actually have the program rolled out and I am coaching. But I was telling Haley about this. The beautiful thing about it is like if I'm having a conversation with somebody and like they don't have their phone in front of them, first off, it's easy to think systems in sync. Especially if you listen to music in the 90s, you already know who NSYNC is.
Yep.
But it's easy to remember systems in sync. And if you go on Facebook and you type systems in sync in the search, there's nothing else called that. So the first thing you're going to see is the page. You're going to see the group, and then you're going to see a bunch of the posts that Haley tailored and put out there before you see anything else. So there's no saturation with that title.
Nice.
That's what's up. That
good. Is very, very solid keyword positioning right there.
Yes, it
100%.
Yeah.
Yes,
Keywords and scripts are very important for things like that.
Yeah. I mean, the whole point of doing all this is to make shit easier for everybody. So I may as well make finding it easy too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, it's 8:30. I gotta hop on another meeting. So have a great night, all of you.
I appreciate you guys.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. We'll catch you guys later.
Okay.